Hey, welcome everybody to Friday Night at the Crib, mid Steel Curtain. Hope everybody's having a wonderful raid. I've posted the link in case anybody would like to join us on the right hand side. Feel free. And we'll talk about the raid, we'll talk about the prizes, we'll talk about all the information that's been released by KixEye over the last couple of days. So feel free to pop in. And I guess I'll introduce who's here already. From left to right, it's the Holsch,
Howdy, everyone.
Magic Mike,
Hello, guys, gals.
Father George,
Evening, everybody.
and the Northman snuck in there.
Hello, guys.
Hey, what's up, Northman?
And Senior Daniel,
Hello, everyone.
Two Doors,
Don't get yourself down. Got this. Pace yourself. Pace yourself.
alrighty, and
There
this
we
is Hefe.
Did Brian bring like a big ass bottle of salt for tonight? Because
Oh
Hey,
God,
what?
where is it?
think-
dude, you need more
No,
than
that
that.
was
shit.
on
You need
KixEye's
more than that.
whiteboard. That was on KixEye's
Yeah.
whiteboard. Was the salt?
Okay.
They thought of me even when I wasn't there. Thanks.
Yeah, and maybe you've already equipped the new. We were afraid you'd already equipped the new torpedo with your what appeared to potentially be a psychotic break there at that that
Yes.
moment.
I was gonna make that joke.
Kind of things going on. That's definitely on point.
So, anybody like to start with anything? How's everybody doing in the raid? I know a lot of people are doing quite well. So, whoever'd like to jump in at first, and I guess should we hear from the? I think we know how it's working for the Skyfire owners, and George has thrown out some videos to help the Phoenix owners that are doing the S sets. I don't know. Anything anybody like to start with?
I don't know. Do we start negative or do we just jump into it? Because I'm gonna tell you, I'm not happy with that 106. Not even a little.
Is there a difference between the two?
Is it the
I mean-
standpoint of what they said, or the Skyfire issue? Is that the issue, or the target itself?
It's. I think that the biggest problem that everyone has that doesn't have Skyfires built is that the top tier hull is not performing in a top tier way in the target. Like I could understand if the damage was even between the two fleets, right?
Mhm.
Because Skyfires kind of got screwed last raid, right? But to have such an imbalance between the two fleets, because it's so much cheaper to run Skyfires with the flag in that target than it is to run Phoenixes. I mean, unless you drive perfect and you can get the things to stack right and you can get the stun to proc at the right time. I mean, it's so complicated to drive the Phoenix in that target to get a decent run. It's ridiculous.
And they also exacerbated the issue by the huge point disparity between the two targets.
Yes, that makes it even worse. That makes it even worse. I mean, the thing is the 106 is so punitive to the Phoenix and not near as punitive to the Skyfires if they get driven, that it's, the Skyfire has now become the top tier hull rather than the Phoenixes.
That's true.
That's ridiculous.
True.
That's ridiculous. If they wanted parity, great. I have no problem with parity. I mean, the Skyfire crew got screwed last month. I understand that, but to flip it this much on a tech store raid, I mean, hell, I think I haven't even cracked 80 million yet. I don't even know what the hell I'm going to get this raid. It's ridiculous.
It's mainly because of that flag effect too, right?
Well, that's why the Skyfires is so good. I mean,
That's what I mean.
You just let the flagship heal, and if you need to heal a little bit more, you pop into a salvage, go in and just repair your flagship and go back out.
I'll be honest. That's what I've been doing.
I mean, I know people
Yeah,
are
same.
throwing grease monkey crews on the Skyfire fleets and autoing the hell out of the the 106s for like 2 damn coins a 106 on auto.
Jeez.
I mean, what the hell?
I mean,
People
it's the
can't even
auto
get that.
hull, but-
Yeah, it's the auto hull, and that's fine. And they're using a grease monkey, so it'd be 4 otherwise, right? But it's still on auto, and there are people that can't do that with a full Phoenix fleet. I mean, there's 2 different speeds on the drones in that target, so it throws you off, especially if you're going from a 100 into 106, right? Trying to do some of the maneuvers with 2 different speeds on the enemy is difficult to handle sometimes. They're faster than the 100 too. So like if you don't have Mag 2, you're fucked.
Mag 2 and the gut spill.
Yeah, and the gut spill. I mean, I'm not, I understand a challenge. I understand several things, but the execution for the 106 is not where it should be, particularly for the players that invested time, money, coin, and everything, and refit time for their Phoenixes. I mean, if anything, throw the damn 103 back out and let us pick between, every time you hit 2 of the targets, you get a completion bonus, for Christ's sake.
I want to kind of sidehorn charge armors in that target. I'll let Daniel go first though, because
Also, I was going to add with some Skyfire owners are not doing as well as others because especially if you don't have the Ballistus.
Yep. If you didn't, and that's another thing. That's a really good point because they said at one point on one of the shows, I think it was when GDA was in BV, he was like, we don't tune for the escalation weapons. Bullshit.
protection.
Bullshit.
Yeah, I will conclusively prove as to why, like right now. Okay, so first though, I have a quick side question just in case it matters. Ship DPS, is that of the same type of the damage of the weapon you're using, or is that just plasma?
Plasma.
What?
Okay. Oh, that makes it, well, it kind of keeps it okay for this. So there's charged armor on the drones in the 106s, and you can see that by the bar and by the graphical effect when you hit them.
Yeah.
That's already been lauded because their weakness is to penetrative. They have charged armor. And I get, like, it makes sense from an enemy standpoint. Yeah, let's protect our weakness. But here's the thing. You just tuned for that. And here's why. The damage is supposed to be a little higher. The DPS is found to be a little higher, but let's just take the flat damage numbers. Let's call it 8,000 and 6,000. You gave us the 6,000 missile, and later on we get the 8,000. Now let's say that's a third more damage technically because 33% increase on the 6. So let's take that into something that reduces pen damage by 4k a hit. Where a 6,000 damage missile does 2,000, and your 8,000 damage missile does 4,000. Your 8,000 damage missile does twice the damage that the 6,000 damage missile does, and that because the flat amount is reduced, so it's not just a percentage anymore; it's a flat amount. So the higher flat amount, significantly better. It's double the damage versus a 33% increase. It's not just a flat increase in health where either way, maybe you kill this target a little faster. It's such a drastic increase based on the ratios of damage. You just tune for the escalation weapons. You just tune for it, and I just proved it. QED, fuck off.
Actually, I kind of proved it today when for my Phoenixes, they were working like crap because I never upgraded them to the Manus, and I took the tokens that I got from the raid, and I refitted all of them with Manus missiles, and all of a sudden they're acting like they were last raid.
I've got about half one. It's
See,
very different for me.
See, I'm not entirely sold on the Manus. I mean, I refit completely to them, but I've seen some people run the hundreds with their Phoenixes, and they're killing stuff just as fast as I am. I mean, the weird thing is I've upgraded all the weapons, and my specials are not like I didn't use the new special because I wanted the higher accuracy on my retroed guided missile system. And I'm taking the exact same damage in hundreds as I was before. I mean, I'm walking the hundreds. But the thing is I did not gain anything with the escalation weapon in that target.
But what about in the 106? Well, you haven't seen the 106.
I haven't
But the
seen
106 but I think that's what Brian was talking before, and Cuttlefish is sort of asking the question: is if you got an example because you've increased the damage versus deflection with the Manus versus the Talon, and these things have charged armor.
Well, the catch is though. I mean, the one shot is higher, yes, but the thing is I don't think like the Manus is supposed to have that buff for when it's half dead, right? And
Yes.
theoretically, what's supposed to happen is as the target gets damaged, right? Because the missiles are not batch fire, right? They fire separately from each position in the ship. What should happen is that as the missiles are hitting, if you get to half damage, the rest of the missiles that are hitting should be proccing that critical hit, and they're not. I don't even see critical hits while I'm hitting any of the drones at all.
Are you seeing critical hits at all with your missiles, though?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I can look again, but I
haven't been seeing it either, so that's why I was throwing the question out there.
I'm gonna
Do you
actually
have
watch
the
that
Wolfpack?
video and see.
I don't know if you can.
I've tried with the
see
Wolfpack.
critical.
Yeah, I've tried with the Wolfpack, and I have not seen a difference using the Wolfpack. The Sea Serpents, because of the turn speed, helps me out a lot more in the 106. I did do one using a Fearless Blitzer, and it helped. The problem is, I mean, it helped stack everything better, and I got away quicker. The problem is I took the turn so far ahead of time that it messed up stacking on the island and ended up having to kite the whole thing. And I mean, I still took like I think 45 minutes of damage, but it was.
Have you tried remote raiders yet? I got 3 of them sitting around.
I have not. I have not. I did try the what's the sub one? That's
Silent Hunters.
Yeah, I tried the Silent Hunters. It didn't do anything for me.
Okay. Yeah, because I'm thinking that the remote raiders gives you plus 30 as opposed to plus 10 for the 1-star.
I don't know that it's the speed though. Like I'm trying to figure out like the timing is more important. If you're going to do, what I did in that video, the timing is far more important than the speed. You're going to take damage no matter what. If you drive it absolutely perfect, I think the lowest I've gotten was just under 10 minutes. And I've only been able to do that one time. And that's, I'm not saying that I'm a great driver or anything, but if I'm having problems getting it down that low, then I really question the ability of anybody to say that the top tier hull can do those targets for less than the Skyfire. On average, that's not going to happen.
And we mentioned it a bit before in the pre-show, but one of the reasons that the Skyfires are doing so well is the flagship, both its ability to heal the other hulls and its incredibly low innate repair efficiency, 140,000 health for 3 hours. So while they might have tuned for, we want players to take 100,000 damage, 100,000 damage to a fleet of Phoenixes is very different than 100,000 damage to a fleet of Skyfires with the flagship.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and another reason that the Skyfires do so well is because they don't have to worry about the evade that the drones have, that the Phoenix worry about.
Yep.
I think it's really the high evade along with the charged armors is what's making these drones such a nightmare this time around for the Phoenix owners.
And as I understand it, the ship DPS of the Skyfires bypasses the charge because it's plasma. It's not the type that you're using. If that's correct, then that's another advantage that the Skyfires have.
Yeah, TSM mentioned it in chat, then I took a look at it. I don't know if this was originally planned, but we've got 12, at least I got 12 additional offers. I still have the one for buying 2 Skyfires for $100 or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But-
it's all tokens and things for Phoenix and Skyfire. Yeah, VXP and tokens.
I still haven't gotten one offer.
At the end of the
That's-
life cycle. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, I think that's kind of cheesy. I mean, no offense,
because
but
they shouldn't be asking us. They shouldn't really be asking us to pay to refit.
well, here's
this point.
Well, the other thing is too is I mean, if you're gonna offer that kind of stuff, why aren't you offering stuff for the flag? Because that's what's gonna make or break anybody's fleet in any of these targets. You need the flagships.
Yeah, and like
You know what I
my
mean?
my flag has no rank, so it gets like left behind and doesn't fire in sync, and that's a big problem. If it was ranked along with the rest, I'm sure I'd be doing a lot better in the targets. But I built it too late for that VXP weekend, and I can't rank it because it's too bulky. The Skyfire flag.
Yeah. You can, it's impossible to rank on salvage thing. I tried.
And I don't care. I don't have the time.
Well, I don't even stack mine. I just leave the Skyfire at the very front and have everything targeted while my other. I leave my flag at the front and let everything target it while my regular Skyfires are just sitting at the back. Just far enough to where the splash from the little corrosive rocket deals from the small little drones don't hit them. Because I found out the drones have a long-range penetrative weapon and a short-range corrosive weapon.
Interesting.
Hopefully, by
I
the time
just
they get
checked.
close enough, they'll have stunned themselves.
Yeah, I just checked that 106 video. I am getting critical hits, but the thing is, I should be getting a ton because I'm at R&D 30 and I'm using the Manus, and it does not. It looks like it's a normal battle in terms of critical hits.
37% when they're at half or less. But if we're talking about the drones in particular, you've also got to hit them.
Yep.
Which is very hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess what would be the best place to test that as far as something where you could, I guess there's no good place to test it, right? Because of the evade on the drones or.
Well, I mean, you can see it on the Pancake too.
Yeah. Well, I guess the Pancake would be the best way to test it and run it with and without. I mean, in case there's a visual glitch where we're not seeing the critical hits, is what I'm saying. Like, how many missiles does it take to kill the Pancake?
Yeah.
With and without, the Wolfpack crew, and then figure out if there's an issue with us not having, if critical hits are just not working at this point. If that's what people are thinking.
Well, here's the other thing too that I just thought of. Because I mentioned this to Cuddle in the chat. The efficacy of the Sky in the 106 is what makes it the top tier hull. But the other aspect of that is that the Skyfire gets rid of those drones so fast it doesn't lose its charges, whereas the Phoenix sits under so much fire from the drones trying to just maneuver. You run out of or are really low on charge for that battle. I mean, at the beginning when I was first doing the 106 targets, I mean, the video was only the second time I had tried that particular tactic, and I ran out of charge. I mean, I literally was empty on charge on one of the ships. I had to retreat and then come back in the target. I mean, I can kind of do them now in one hit, but why in the hell am I losing that much charge when the Skyfire can walk these things and not lose its charge? I mean, it's just the balance is not there for the 106, and that's really bad for. I mean, if it was like the first raid in the set, it wouldn't be that bad. It wouldn't. But this is the hull store or the tech store raid. We need these points.
Yeah, true. And the other problem is the timing of this is not fortuitous when people are trying to decide if they want to get the sub and they want to get all the specials for the sub and whatnot. You're like, okay, well, this is the one that you say is the preferred one that we're spending all our time and effort getting right now. But at the same time, you're making it the secondary one at this time. So do I actually really want to get this blueprint in order to spend the time building it at this point in time? Or do I just wait for the TLC that's going to come out in 3 weeks with the Tideseeker Hunter, the auto haul or the blitz haul or whatever, that's. I just don't like the way they did the timing. I don't think the timing helps them doing it that way.
No, I mean, this is the kind of stuff that you figure out in the first month, not the last month. And and where we have only 3-month cycles, I mean, this can't happen. I mean, it can't.
And a bigger problem is it's now set a precedent going forward of, even though like, all you need is a skill hole. Well,
Nope.
now the skill hole's crap at the end. Are they asking us to build both fleets? Is that what they're doing? Because that's what everyone interpreted the communication as when they first said it, because they failed at English and also failed at copy pasting a few things in the raid briefing. And then what we're finding in the targets, at least the vast majority of us are, yeah, George, you're a god, you don't count. You're an outlier. And that's worrisome, because you should be taking more damage with the second hole than the top hole, yes. But when you have the second hole doing the best, it's like, are people going to be shifting to the second hole now? And then how's that going to work out then? Because again, if you want us to build both fleets, we're not going to build them.
Well, and
The second
these
fleet
targets,
better be 3.
yeah, and
But
these targets are going to the map too. So I mean, at this point, what do we do as players? Because you know what, I want an easy drive. Like if I have to do chores, I either want to auto them or I want to have the ease of driving. If I have to drive these targets, like if the 106 becomes a map target and I have to drive Phoenixes to get whatever the hell, like titanium or whatever the fuck it's going to be, I do not want to drive these things. These are a pain in the ass to drive.
Yeah.
Hello, Ernest. I think George said the right thing here. What are we going to do as players? And for me and myself, I'm close to level 114. I have not cracked 1 point yet in this event. And I decided that when I saw the insanely amount again you need for points to get all the new stuff. And I was thinking, well, if I'm going to do anything, I'm going to get the lead ship for slot. I will not get the new sub, and I will take myself the 3 months off. I will not participate in the cyclist that's coming now. I will just get the lead ship for slot if I bother. And that's all I'm going to do in this event, because it's getting just too ridiculous, really.
I mean, I just threw the gut spill Skyfire into Huggies, right? And with R&D 30, right, a blank one is 13 days. It's 615 gold. So if you wanted to even just have it out so you could take advantage of its repair thing, I mean, you're talking, $61 just to be able to have an easier time of the... I mean, come on, man. This is supposed to be a game.
For one target in
One
a
target.
raid, it's
Yeah.
a quarter of the thing that might not even be on the map. You know what I can get for $60? Overwatch and $20. The Witcher 3.
Well,
And probably some money now because it's old. You can get a target
Overwatch and what, 3 orders or 4
like a
orders?
bunch of Chinese food. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, look, I really appreciate having to figure out some of the targets, right? I mean, I have fun doing it, and I don't know that I would have been as motivated as I was yesterday to find a solution had the 106 not been so damn crazy for the Phoenix, But holy crap, man! Like the first time I went in, I hadn't watched anybody's videos. I didn't do anything, and I was like, all right, so this is gonna be like I expected the speed to be like the hundreds. I ended up taking like 3 hours of damage. I was like, what the hell, And I just, I don't know. I mean, we discussed the amount of points that people are looking at when they come into these raids, and again, it demotivates you. You sit down, you look at it, and you're like, oh crap, I need 400 million points. Okay, well that's going to be like 55 set targets. It's going to be 20 hours of direct playtime, so probably 25, 30 hours of actual playtime, because you talk to people and you mess around and you mess up and you got to coin some repairs or whatever the hell it is, right? But then you see the target and you're like, what the fuck?
And that, again, that 20 whatever hours, you just said counting coining.
Yes.
So you're not even like buying that much of an advantage anymore.
No, it used to be either seat time or coin, and now it's both, which is really bad. That's a bad combination.
Yeah, like quite honestly, if I never see the word limited in this game again, I'd be more than because that's what causes all these hundreds of millions of points.
Mm-hmm.
You know what's limited to? My patience with their shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, you know, when I do vids or articles, right? I usually get somewhere between like 1,000 or 2,000 views, right? I mean, the articles sometimes usually get more than the videos. I mean, I put that video out yesterday, right? Mm-hmm. And it's got 4,500 views the last time I looked, and I'm like, that's a bad sign. I mean, if that many people are looking at that video, that is a very bad sign, and it does not speak well to that target. If that many people are like, holy crap, what do I do? You know, that should not happen.
Players.
Yeah, I mean, that should not happen. I should not have that many views on that damn video. I shouldn't even have half of that many views on that video. Inside of 24 hours, I mean, come on.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bad sign. I don't know, like, I don't know what the solution would be. The only solution I could come up with is like, okay, look, Skyfire people got screwed last time. I mean, that's a given. That target was shit. I mean, there were options because you could go in with your subs or ghost crawlers or whatever and take care of it. And there are players that built the ghost crawlers for this month expecting, you know, the 103, and they are pissed because holy shit, they just lost a month of build time on a ghost crawler that they're not going to be able to use now.
I feel extra bad because now the ghost crawler never surfacing is not even special anymore.
Yeah, and I mean, and so what do you do? I mean, like, the only solution I could come up with is putting the 103 back in the raid and letting people choose which way they want to do their setups.
Yes, complete
Daniel, I muted you because there's some sort of like feedback or something on your mic. It sounded like something was just hitting the microphone or something. But I mean, I just, like, I seriously, I'm trying to figure a solution out, and I can't. Like, I've lost my fleets. I've been trying to find a different way to do those 109s that's not as driving critical as that option is.
109.
And the 109, I'm sorry, what did I say?
You said 109. You mean 106?
106. I'm sorry, the 106. I've been trying to find different solutions so that, because, you know, people are not going to be able to drive like that, and if your time is just a hair off, it is such a punitive target if you mess that up that you're screwed, right? And I've lost, I don't know, I think I've tried it like 4 or 5 different other ways, and I've lost the fleet each time. I've even tried stacking them and then getting them to stun and turning around and letting the what do you call it? The what's that thing that the Phoenix has? The close range crap.
Point.
Yeah, the point defense. Thank you. The point defense. Thank you, Mike. The point defense system. Like, I've turned around, they're stunned. I turn around perfectly. I have everything timed. I'm at the edge of the point defense, so it's shooting. It shoots twice. Those motherfuckers don't die. They're not even half dead. And then they come out of stun. My fleet was gone. I was like, okay, that is not a point defense system. That's bullshit. That's crap. I had them completely stacked. I think I actually have that one on video. Like, I completely just sink. Instant death. I was like, holy shit. I cannot come up with a different solution that's viable for more people.
George, there is no solution. They don't want you to have a solution. Take damage and coin. I
mean, I got a solution. I mean, I got a solution, but it's not it's not really a viable one. I mean, it's viable
Yeah.
if you can drive like that every time. And driving like that, even if they don't stack on the island, you still have, it still gives you some space so you can kite them, and you still take about 45 to an hour damage if you end up doing that. But it's still such a critical driving,
It's a driving intensive thing with the
yeah, it's just
Don't do.
compared to how the skies perform and how you can drive the skies, and I don't have a nice feeling for that target right now. Not at all.
Well-
I would love to see the 103 brought back out just for the people that have the Phoenixes, because come on.
You know what? The Phoenixes, even with that Manus missile on there and the new special, are doing worse than I ever thought possible. It's a worse fleet this raid than what it was last raid.
In the hundreds I'm doing fine.
In the hundreds?
But I didn't go with the new special. I was never sold on the new special.
Mm-hmm.
I went with the new special, and I went half and half on the missiles and what I had. And it's worse, even in the 100s for me, than what it was. And the only thing I changed was the Manus missile and the special.
Why? Like I said before, I didn't refit my Phoenixes, and they were crap in the 100 until I refitted them with the tokens in the raid. And now all of a sudden they're acting exactly how they were last raid, where they're two-shotting the Hulks, and they're killing the drones really quick.
I did not do any refits at all. And starting out this raid, I was doing on-map repair, and by the end of the day yesterday, I'm talking 100s with the Phoenix, couldn't do it anymore. I was looking at 20 plus minutes. That's without refit at all. So same fleet as last raid, for whatever that's worth. So it maybe had a trade-off effect. I don't know.
I don't know. I mean, we're all getting different.
All I know is I can't instant repair anymore.
Different outcomes with the Manus missile.
Yeah, it's so
Random.
very. It's so much chance because the evade on the drones is so high.
Mhm.
Like we have 160% accuracy, and honestly, even with the pancakes,
Mhm.
I've killed the top left one in the 100.
Mhm.
It's taken me 5 salvos to kill that, and it's taken me 2 salvos to kill that on different occasions.
Yeah.
Also, another thing I noticed is like if you went with RA armor, you took a lot more damage. But I actually switched to the alloy armor comm, and all of a sudden it did start reducing the damage a lot.
Well, the thing,
They weren't going to tune for the escalation stuff.
Yeah, well,
well, I mean, the thing with these targets and this whole raid set is the amount of randomness that's in it. We don't really see that previously between the high evade numbers that you see for the drones, with the stun effect of I have Phoenixes, but the stun effect of the Gutspill Phoenix, the random that which is random, the random nature of the self-stunning thing that they do, which I still haven't. Does anybody figure it out? And then the randomness of where those freaking volcano things land. There's a lot of randomness in this thing, which is, I think partially leading to what you were talking about. The people are having different experiences because it's like there's so many things. If you ran it the exact same way, if you had some sort of macro that was doing the whole thing, you potentially would get a large disparity in what your result would be, even if it was run exactly the same each time. I don't know. I just don't know that we've seen this much random, all these random things happening in a target, but previously.
Holsh,
I guess that's probably their way of fixing for if you do it really well, you're taking barely any damage. Because with the Scourge targets, yeah, we could do it for no damage. but those targets were so lag heavy, and even now the game is really lag heavy, that was a rarity, and it wasn't even our fault. So
Yeah, but it also makes it, it makes it, well, because everybody's thinking they're changing things, and maybe they have, but it makes it difficult for the players to evaluate what's going on, because there's so many factors that can be, happen one time to you and not on another. Because I watch these 106 videos and I'm like, wow, if that stun didn't happen right there when that guy made that turn, he's screwed. He's going to take a huge amount of damage.
Mhm.
And then, and the stun can happen two different ways, and they're both random. I mean, and then, the evade thing probably eventually works out as not being that much of a random thing, just because of the huge number of missiles that are getting launched. But it makes it difficult to evaluate the targets, I think, personally.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. I recorded the very first shit that I did on the 106, and I went back and looked at what I did. I mean, I wasn't going to go back in that damn thing blind. That was ouch.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And see, the very first hit I did with the 106 was probably the best one I did, and they've gone downhill since then.
Really?
That's what I was saying. I think they adjusted.
The very first 106 I went in and did with my Skyfires, I was able to turn to the right side of the screen and go up and basically kite everything without much trouble at all. With the Skyfires, not with the Phoenixes, with the Skyfires. And since then, I haven't been able to replicate that run.
someone might have said it while I was away, but the heavy evade on the drones, that just puts things more in favor of the Skyfires, even to the point where, because the Skyfires have such a large damage buff to UAVs, even though there's no base damage, it's versus the drones. You probably, even without the assault DPS, I think you'd get more DPS versus the drones out of the Skyfires than out of the Phoenixes, which is the main source of damage in the target and basically the hardest thing to kill in the target. So for the toughest part of the target, the Skyfires are better. It kind of felt like everything that was the Executioner missiles and the Arc missiles in the 83 raid cycle, how most people would go around and kill all the missiles and then come in with their main fleet and just finish it off.
Yeah. That's the way I've been kind of finishing off the targets the last day, is I'll go in with the Skyfires, kill as many of the drones as I can, and come back out and hit it with the Phoenix, and it's usually, with careful driving, about a 3-coin repair per 106. Repairing only the gut spill.
Damn.
What?
I still think that's the amount of work that you're doing. That's a lot of coin
Sure.
damage.
I agree.
Oh man.
Hey, George, at this point, do you think
Ron?
I didn't hear you. You were talked over.
You're using your Skyfire fleet for
I'm
that?
using the Skyfire and the Phoenix.
Huh. Because I am using just my Skyfires and only repairing the flag, and it's usually under 20 minutes for the whole 106.
Kudos.
Yeah, but that's not why I said that. It's interesting.
Now there are a couple of things in the 106s that I have found so far in terms of issues. The turrets shooting after they're dead has come back. That's happened. Especially the one that I notice it mostly on is the one that procs the fire fields on the water. Ouch. I mean, ouch. Because there was one time when I killed it and I went to turn around to go to the other side of the target, and the damn thing fired, and I was like in the middle of a bunch of fire fields. I was like, what the hell? And the other one that I found that I actually got it on video, there's a stacking issue, which I got that, and if you click on near the edge of the of land, right? This is an old bug, and it's apparently come back. If you click near the edge of the land, it shows like the little line comes up and shows that you're going to go to wherever the hell you clicked, but you don't. You keep on going in the direction that you were in. That's come back too. So I don't know.
Not just me.
The last two, the last two I actually have on video. I haven't been able to catch the death firing on video yet, but I sent it into CS and I haven't heard anything about it. So,
well, you bring this up when I had queued up the other video and asked if you wanted to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay, but I had queued up that one to talk about if.
If you want. I mean, do you want to walk through? Do you want me to walk through? What do you want to?
You walk through it. It's your video. I'll just push play and we'll go from there. How about that?
Okay. Yeah. So let me actually click on you so I can see what's going on. All right. So if you want to pause here for a second, the biggest catch here when you first enter, the first time I tried this, I made the mistake of not targeting that turret at the beginning, and that's why I pointed it out in the video, because as you come across, when you turn around, you'll see later on that you actually want to stop shooting at the drones and shoot at that, so you don't walk into it, because I walked into it and lost half a fleet. So at the very beginning of the targets now, every time I target that thing, because it'll automatically shoot at the drones, and if you can start it now.
Okay.
So then I come down and I try and clip the very first drone there, and then I activate the middle set, and the other set's already coming. And this is where you have to start trying to stack them the right way to make this loop. And it's really, this is where I take most of the damage most of the time, because a lot of times I just can't get around that loop fast enough. And then here, this is where you're going to want to see the stack. It's stacked up nice. And this is where the timing of everything happens, because you got to get rid of that turret, and you have to wait until those things proc the stun again before you completely go into the island. You can actually turn up to the other side of the island without setting off all the other drones as well, and I've had to do that a couple of times. But then right here, you just sit and just keep on waiting to kill those things off. I've had a couple once in a while sneak down the side, and I just end up taking the damage because it's much better. It's much less damage than if you try and just kite them the rest of the way if you keep on driving. Now that big pancake, once in a while, if you're not killing these things fast enough, especially if you have talons, you can end up shooting that thing, and you can end up having to jump out, and you might still have some drones left over. And this is actually where I stop and I show, I think right here, yeah, this is where I split the fleet, and you can see that one of the hulls took way more hits than the rest, and there's no charge whatsoever on this thing left at all, which sucks. Did it skip that whole? I thought I had pointed that out in the video, but all right. So I jump out, I charge the armor, I hop back in again, and then this time it's much easier. You got a lot more room to go. If I had two fleets, I would probably be getting rid of the drones and then doing this, because this part's so much easier to stack these things. One at a time is so much easier to stack these things, and I just do the same thing. I go in, I activate each group of drones. Sometimes I have a little bit of an issue like that time, and you just go around and stack little bastards and kill them. You do this for all three of the sets that are still left. And then I think, did I do it? I can't remember in this. Did I go down the left-hand side and hit that last pancake from the bottom? Oh, you know what? Let me mention here too. You can do this last group like this, or you can actually go down and then hook back around and catch them on the right-hand side of the island too.
Yeah, and at this point, you have plenty of room to,
maneuver. Yeah, you can actually probably, if you mess up or if they don't stack right at this point, there's actually enough room to to loop
Loop
around and
ar-
kite them. Yeah, I mean, there's you have the option of kiting at that point. Those I can't stand those turrets. Those turrets are the worst. Those turrets actually make me contemplate getting rid of RA3 and putting on a combo armor.
Which turret?
The one that does the
The
fire
launcher.
field. Yeah, the launcher is such a pain in the ass. And that's the one that sometimes
I'm sorry, thrower. Yeah,
thrower, launcher, what? Yeah, same thing.
Yeah.
But that's the one that sometimes procs the I'm dead, but I'm going to shoot at you anyway thing. This one, again, is just the timing. Like sometimes they'll come up around like this right here, and if you only have one or two, and you're in these last three, if you get all of them onto one side of the island like this, and one or two of them sneak out the side, if you go straight across, so these other ones stay stuck on the island, you can kite the stragglers and then come back and kill the rest of these things because they'll stay stuck on the island if you keep the island between you and the drones. So then this one, I think I come down around here? Or do I kill yeah, I do. Okay, so you can come down here on the left-hand side, hug that cloud. And because you don't activate the pancake here, if you hook around on the back side, it doesn't turn fast enough, so you can actually shoot it. I've gotten much better at this, but you can actually shoot it and it'll shoot forward to the left rather than come after you. And then, I'm paranoid, so I don't want to kill that building that kicks all those crazy cheese balls out. And that's it. I kill all that stuff, kill that one as the last one, and that's it. Again, it's some crazy ass driving to do one target that the Skyfire just, you just go in and you kind of lollygag through the target with the Skyfires. It's much, much easier.
Yeah, and the thing was, I guess I should have rewound it, but the thing that I have that makes me nervous about the beginning of it is you got a lot of well-timed stuns in that video.
Well, the thing that I've found is when they start stacking, like if you go to the very beginning, right?
Okay.
Let me see if I can, because I know where I'm. Let me see if I can get this on. Can I share the?
What are you trying to do?
I'm gonna try and share my screen because I know where it is that I want to
Okay.
go share. So let's see. All right, so right here where they're all set. Am I presenting?
Yeah, you're
Before?
here.
Okay. So right here, like before they all stack, you don't get a lot of procs. But as you progress here and they get real close together, see how they'll start stunning like crazy. And by the time you hook here, this is the trickiest part, is being able to get them close enough around this loop where they'll stun somewhere between this area and this area. Like somewhere in this channel they have to stun, otherwise you're boned. And if you don't get them this stacked right here, you're going to have a bad time of it. Now here they stack really, really good, and this is where I hook to the right. And this, where they're stacked like this right here will proc. And I don't know the mechanic that actually makes them stun. I really would like to know, but this stack right here, if you can get it to stack this well, you will get bunches of procs of the stun.
Okay.
Like every time I hit them, see what I mean? Like it's almost every time. If you can get them to stack really, really well, they will just, every time you hit them, they'll stun. I don't know if it's the proximity to one another. I don't know what it is, but if you go back from here over, once they stack really, really good like this, every time you hit them, they'll stun. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's because I think you had said one time in one of the shows that you think it was because there was so many of them together, and that might be it.
Well, yeah, I remember early on when we were hitting the A sets and whatnot at the beginning that I never saw like a single one stun.
Right.
And it seemed like the more they had, the more they would stun. So I guess that
Right.
makes sense. But I never really been able to figure out any logic in it. Just sort of.
See, and you say, I mean, we said that before, right? And like here, like you can see it stun, and then as it goes, because you can watch these little, see that little green thingy?
Mhm.
That's the buff, the damage buff from that big building that I kill at the end. But when they stun, like now, when they're stacked, they're all together, they're stuck on the island. These other ships are away from them instead of behind them. I think that might have something to do with it too, because they're not stunning. Like they'll stun once in a while. Let me see when they shoots again. So there's a stun. And then see, like, this is what I mean. Like, I'm not sure what actually causes the stun. I don't know if it's proximity to me. I don't know if it's proximity to the other ships, because on all these other ones, all those other ships are behind it. Right?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So I don't know if it has something to do with one of the ones that are stuck behind it here. I don't know if it's the stack. I really want to know what this mechanic is, and no one's been able to figure out the damn mechanic. Because that will help everybody. If we can figure out what this mechanic is right here, we can manipulate the target even better. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, and the scary part of watching these videos is the fact that until we know, it's like you could just get driven into that wall, not be able to make the turn, and you get
well, I have had a couple times when they don't stun the right way, but the way that I come across that island and then hook around, because you have to get rid of that turret, it gives you enough room where they'll still stick on the island. It's just that you take more fire.
Yeah. Well, it's more about the whole technique of trying to get all of them stacked, because once they're all stacked and they don't get stunned at the right time or whatnot, and you need to make a turn, now you got all of them firing at you. I mean, that's the part that I find to be a little scary in the whole thing. The fact that you have them all stacked is cool as far as hiding them against the island. But it's also scary at the fact that if anything goes wrong, now you have all of them firing at you as opposed to maybe one or two. Now you have you have a whole gaggle of them shooting at you.
Yeah. Well, the thing is if you can get, I mean, the stack, like I said, that first turn when you're up against that left-hand wall and you have to go down that little channel, that's the most critical part of the whole thing. Because even if you can't get them on the island, if they're stacked the way they are there, you have a much better time of kiting them than if they're a mess of them kicking around everywhere. I did try one where I went in, I stacked like that, I looped around, and then I came back down, and instead of hooking to the right, I hooked on the bottom of that island and activated the other two sets of drones, and I got everything stacked. It was really, really nice. But I ended up taking like an hour and 30 minutes of damage because I just ran out of charge. I just get, you're under so much fire trying to kite and maneuver in that, I mean, it's a big target, but you don't have a lot of room to maneuver. So trying to manipulate the rest of the target and get everything stacked, and it's just you take too much damage because your charge just gets eaten up. The things last way too long. The health on those drones is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, just utterly ridiculous.
Okay. Well, I'm going to get another beer, and when I come back, I'm going to talk about skirmish cycle.
I actually want to talk about what they said about bounty. I want to talk about that, and I wanted to actually show that other one, the other vid that you want to run that one before you go get another beer? The two issues, so people...
Or I can put you on for that. You can run it, right?
Yeah, hold on a second. Let me get it. Oops, that's the wrong one. Let me share my screen. Share that. This is the two issues. That there's a stacking issue where sometimes your fleet split, and this is really actually dangerous in this target, because if you split that fleet at the wrong time, you're going to lose a ship. And then this is the big one. Like, you can see clearly that, let me hide that so I can go here. You can see that I'm clicking like crazy right there. And I just keep going. Let me see if I can, I'm going to slow that down just so. I mean, you can see the clicks and the clicks. And the thing is, the line shows up like you're gonna move, but you're not moving. And by the time you figure it out, you're like, okay, hold on, I'm eating the damn drone. I mean, it's right there, you know.
Yeah.
So that's an hour of damage right there, almost, or just a little bit under an hour of damage just from that.
Yeah, and the other thing that I would, not necessarily the 106, but some of the other targets, I've seen a lot of people what appear they're down arrowing, and then starting their ships back up for the drones when they get. I don't do that because I'm afraid of things like this where clicks are getting eaten. So I'll just change my direction. I'll make it so they can get to me faster, as opposed to stopping. If you follow what I mean, I'll just go. Yeah. I'll wiggle waggle from side to side as opposed to doing a direct stop, just so I don't get like an eaten. Because Brian's the one that always talks about clicks getting eaten, and this is what you're showing here. And
no, this actually isn't the clicks getting eaten. I mean, they registers because you can see it registering like it should be moving to where that line goes. That's from the game. That's the return from the game showing that it's it recognized the move, but you don't go there because it's so close to the island. Like usually if you click next to like the land, it'll pop out that little line to where you can go, right? And this one isn't. This one's just like, yeah, screw you. We're just gonna keep on going in the direction that you were going in. Fuck you.
I got you.
And that just that added another hour of damage just from that one oopsie. So yeah, I mean, there's issues. And I mean, this target's just ouch. A lot of ouch. A lot of ouch.
And it's even worse that we had no preview. Like no one ever saw this.
No feedback from the community, no idea for anybody about what the hell to expect. I mean, nothing. We had to deal with it on the fly.
And it's not like it's not even really the same mechanics because there's the two different speeds of the drones. Like we know to dodge the drones, but there's no room to dodge them. I mean, again, George, you're a god, you don't count. And even you still take some hits every now and then. Like that has to be super.
If I was as good as you thought I was, I mean, I wouldn't be stuck at 72 million. I mean, is Holsh, I might hire you to merc for me this time because holy crap, I just can't. I can't bring myself to.
I don't see anybody else out with a video looping around the side like that, and like barely weaving through. It's like a damn car commercial.
Wow.
I haven't touched my Phoenixes at all this raid.
Really?
I use them for hundreds. I used Skyfires once, but I got so much lag, I just didn't care.
I don't have the damn
hundreds too.
Yeah, I don't even have the. I don't have.
I'm sure they're good in hundreds too.
I don't got the flagship, so I'm boned, completely boned.
Although if I mean. If all I used for the last raid in the cycle was a Skyfire Bleat that I haphazardly built with tokens from TLCs, why did I spend 2 months of going all in on the Phoenixes?
I actually built. I have 4 Skyfires built, and most of the slots have the pulse that whatever the fuck the damn thing is, the
Ballistes.
Yeah, thank you. And I threw that into the 106 to see like how much damage it would be, and it was 16 coins of damage to complete the target without the flagship.
So we're talking 16 coins down to like, in practice,
2.
1.
Yeah, 1 or 2. Yeah.
2, but in practice, 1.
That's what I'm doing is 1.
Yeah, see that's
so 615 for the flag. So at 41 of the. Hang on a minute.
Is it worth actually coining the flagship? Here we go. Brian's going to do live math.
At 41, you break even. at 41 you break even. I just had to mute host because it was like something was a spray bottle.
I mean, I coined my Gutspill Phoenix the first trade, and it was well worth it. I mean,
that's
yeah,
the thing.
but
I mean, if it's 615 coin, right? How many? Oh crap! I don't even want to do that. I don't even want to try and figure that out.
115 coins breaks even at a 15 coin disadvantage after 41 targets,
which can be
Good Lord.
easily attained.
which is 369 million. By the way,
34 million. So
And how many? And if you blitzed a target, how many? How many coins? I mean, how many points do you get for the? What I
it's
say? 615.
800,000 for 5, right?
Maybe, I don't know. I have no idea.
800,000 for 5? Well, assuming it is 800,000 for 5,
Hold
you
on,
get.
let's ask chat. Somebody in chat's got to know what the blitz thing is. How much is the blitz, guys?
It's assuming it's 800,000. It's a little under 100 million. You get 123 instances of blitz at a 5 coin minimum.
Good grief.
Yeah. So I think because there was someone who was hundreds of millions right after a thing happened. I think about after my world started, he was 900 million top of the leaderboard.
Drac.
Level 89. Oh, payout increased 25%.
What?
So, it's $1 million. Okay, so you get 123 million.
So it's still cheaper to coin your gut spill and run the targets on auto.
You want to
No, 'cause
spend time.
you still have to auto the targets, right?
I drive into
You
one.
want to spend time doing things.
Yeah.
I mean, how much is what? So it's 123 million. Okay, 123 over 9 is how many assets? So let's call it 14 assets.
Was Northman's mic not working? Like he keeps on bouncing in and out. I don't know if his mic is.
So you're okay. With a 615 coin investment, I estimate you're about with a $60 investment. So that's about $6.60 an hour to not play, something like that.
I mean, and here's like there's a fundamental issue with a game paying you or incentivizing. There's a fundamental issue with a game incentivizing players to not play their game.
Right.
Yeah, if you want to do that, I'll keep all my money and also maximize not playing your game by not playing your game, by deleting the app, by going outside.
I do not understand. Like, I don't understand the whole concept behind that. Like, I understand the blitz. And originally when the blitz was being talked about, it was like, okay, well, if you can do your, like, say it was with the 113s, right? If you can do the 113, right, for like 2 coins of damage, then you can hit the button to blitz and you would just repeat your performance each time. So you would be paying 2 coin to just repeat what you've done. And that's cool. That's an okay idea for chores, right? But that's not what it ended up turning into. It turned into let's make some money off of these guys. Because honestly,
a game warping, an economy warping thing.
Yeah, it's just it throws off the entire economy of the game.
That was their intent.
I mean, the 89, right? If you can go and walk the 89 and get like 4 minutes of damage, then yeah, you know what? 1 coin, not 5, 1 coin, 800 grand, which is still less points than what top PvE players expect to pay for their points. And now where the raids are not just, hey, 60 to 100 million gets you everything. Now it's 400, 500 million points to get everything. Dude, now you really have skewed points.
Well,
cost.
yeah. I mean,
and
because
these things
they
are
broke
months.
I mean, I don't know. People, I'm not sure how they feel about charged armors, but that was all broken. Charged armors were broken by product. They weren't really broken, except for the first time. They weren't really broken by the design team. It's the cost of them is the issue. 10 million each, even now, or 12 million in the past. That's what's broken, and that's what causes huge.
Well, part of it is that, and part of it is, I mean, I have to say it. I love the design team, right? I love the dev team, but it went from, like, in the Garrison raid, you didn't actually need it. It was then a luxury item, okay?
Yeah.
It wasn't necessary it's not necessary in the FM. I mean, I've shown that. I've run a Zealous mono fleet with no charged armor whatsoever and took 1.5 minutes of damage, right? So that's not an issue. The issue is now in this raid set, and probably in the next raid set if they continue this trend, they're not luxury items. They're actually required items. They're designed around having, like, the targets are designed around having those things. And even though they said the other day that, oh, they don't design around having the charged armor, yes, you do. Because if you're a top end player, if you're an end game player, you expect, back when it was only 60 million to 100 million to get your points for the raid, you expected to get 1 to 5 million per coin, right? Now, you can't do that without charged armor, and that's where the discrepancy comes up. And I don't know that they quite realize that. Like, they've changed the economy overall without taking into account how they're tuning for the raids and for the events. And now they're talking about having 2 damn events a month. I mean, no. Yeah, that's going to be bad. That's why I want to talk about bounty, because they said it was going to be, like, they hinted that it was going to be monthly, and man, that would be a mistake. Like, I don't know how I could explain that even more than I can't explain it better than that. It's a mistake.
Well, and also they act like from the combination of the shows, they act like, okay, it was doing okay. It was just a user interface issue that you guys had. It was way bigger than the user interface issue as far as what was going on there.
Yeah.
I mean,
when you attempt to create an economy and you cut the prices of everything by 60% and make something basically free to try to entice people, it's not a UI issue.
Yeah. The whole trickle down economy wasn't really working there because there was no money. There was no rich people in this whole thing. So Brian's doing the slow cap.
I see what you do.
In regards to the charged armors, though, I mean, I think they should, scale the S targets to that, but it should have no impact on the tier 6 targets. They should
they shouldn't scale. They shouldn't scale anything to the charged armor. Not even a little bit. And the thing is, and that includes the builds themselves. Like, you should be able to fit regular armor and kite out your entire build and fit it the same as if you used conventional armor or if you used charged armor, because if you start even tuning that to the charged armor, you've already skewed everything towards the charged armor, and that's supposed to be a luxury item. For 10 million a pop or 12 million, whatever the fuck price they want to put it at, because it's a limited item and you have to get one each individually, and it throws the entire economy of the raids through the fucking roof for the amount of points that you need. I mean, that's what's ruined the raids, is the amount of points overall that you need. That's it. That's the base thing that has messed everything up.
Yeah, it's not so much how much you need, because in this raid, I mean, you don't need, like with the turrets, you don't need 5 of any of those.
No, but how much for the charged armor, the new hull, and the new weapon and special? How much is that? How much is that? 200 million? Yeah, 200 million points.
220 actually with the
220 million points. See, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's asinine. And that's just to be ready for the next raid set that's only 3 months. And then after the second month, we're going to have to refit again because we're going to have more fucking escalation weapons. I mean, come on.
Okay, since you brought up the next raid set and escalation weapons, here's what I am salty about. The fact
All right.
that if you use the escalation weapon from the last skirmish cycle, which was the Mayhem, and put them on your Tide Seekers and your Hell Race, they are now, from what I can tell, looking at the new targets in the video,
You're fucked.
yeah, they're completely useless because of the minimum 59 damage or whatever the hell the Mayhems do against submerged targets.
Yep.
And that needs to be fixed in some way, because previously, you were able to like warm into this with an older fleet. Like Garrison, you were able to use the Punishers and whatnot.
Well, here's the catch with this. We're assuming that target type is going to trickle down all the way through all the sets. They may have that target type just in the A and the S, and then the B and the C might be surface stuff. We don't know yet.
But the B and the C people don't probably have Mayhems.
Yeah, they don't. That's the Delta Tier 5 prize from the FM.
Oh,
yeah, and it was an
hopefully.
escalation prize for these.
Yeah.
So these are people that have been around for a year and were at Tier 5. So that's what I mean. Personally, I have my Tide Seekers, all Mayhems. My Hell Race, half Mayhems, half Fire Twisters.
That's true. Yeah, that's a good point.
And it's not going to be. It's those ships are either you're going to refit them, and then you're not going to do as well against other targets, that are currently in the game, or you're forced to get the Fangtooth and the Delirium and all that good nonsense. I mean, I found that to be like a lack of continuity, even though this team has been around the whole time. I mean, that part gets me irked, is the fact that there's no continuity from one skirmish raid to the next skirmish raid.
That's a legit issue. I mean,
is-
that is. Go ahead, Brian. Did his signal just drop? Oh no! You lost Brian.
What?
Okay, you're back. Okay, you were frozen and
Yeah, we lost you.
Oh, as
Try again.
apparently everything popping up is okay. Yeah. So, this cycle, your opponent can stun you. That did not exist in the last Legion cycle, but you could put an Agility 4 on your ship and it would counteract that. And you can't counteract the garbage damage that you have here. Not possible. Oh, actually, if we're on to the new raid cycle, technically, can I talk about concussive charged armor?
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, but we did bring up a fairly big issue. I'm not sure if you heard it or not.
The submerged damage on the escalation weapon from last year is garbage. So if you use last year's stuff, you're actually hosed.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure, because
I'm
you
sorry, I
froze
don't
up for a bit. Go
I
ahead.
don't know how long I was out for.
But they,
Yeah. So concussive charged, 10 million, blah blah blah. Nothing we say is going to change that, but the damage that it takes 32,000, and whereas the other one takes like 1,600 damage. Basically, you can take 6 full shots, whereas the other time it's 64 full shots, and I'm really concerned about that because what does it portend? First of all, they reneged on their charged armor. It's back to the old way now, it looks like. This one is.
It is.
So back to stopping boulders. And how's that going to mesh with the explosive damage in the target? Is there going to be a massive concussive and explosive gun that will override your explosive? Is it going to be like, if you get too close to stuff in the garrison, how the specific turrets take half your health? Is it going to be that thing where you kind of get insurance against the major mistakes, like the major mistakes that you make? Or is it just going to be expected and used in the normal course of play and you have to use your charge wisely? Like, That's important, and I'm worried as to how that's going to happen going forward, as to what's going to have concussive. I know not everything is going to deal 30,000 damage, but I think they're going to use that as an excuse to put something in that does deal 30,000 damage. That's a problem.
You mean it's going to be 60,000 damage?
Fine. When everything is halved, nothing is halved.
It's doubled.
Yes, I know. I don't care.
So, well, Larry already said that we were on a preview server, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, that's
so
public.
so you know, I'm actually kind of thinking back, and the targets actually surfaced a bunch, like a lot. There was only one that I think was not surfaced, and that one was the one that really hurt a lot too, though. So I don't know. Like, I'm trying to think if the mayhem would really be that much of a detriment the way that they had it. The other thing is with the armors, I tested without and with the only charged armor we had available, which was the M, and there was a significant difference. Explosive. Why are you muting me?
Probably for your own good.
Probably for my own good.
Yeah.
I mean, they already talked about it.
Well,
right?
no, Larry mentioned that there was one. He didn't
Right, but
really
I'm
get
saying-
into details on that.
Well, I mean, I don't think that. I mean, the target's going to change. That was just to test the actual sub itself, right?
Well, they
We
did
didn't
mention.
really. I don't think we're actually seeing the actual targets yet. I'm just saying the way that it performed so far, it performed really well. There was a difference though between the charged armor not having it, which is the same thing that we see now, and what we saw in everything but the garrison cycle. And I want it to go back to where you can actually run stuff without the charged armor and still perform as good as with the charged armor if you can mitigate not having it. You know what I mean? Like with your driving or something. Because like this raid set, it's really apparent you need the charged armor, right?
Mhm.
I just don't want. I don't want that to be. I don't want that to be the default.
Yeah. No, I understand. You know, I mean, because between the price and the cost to put them on, and the fact that it's a 3-month raid cycle, and there's a huge amounts of reasons why they made the charged armor not work. I mean, they made it work, but they made it have a negative impact on the game. At least the way I see it. They made it a detriment to the game as opposed to something that's going to be positive to the game. Between the like again, 10 million, a day and a half,
right?
I
mean, and that's the thing that at this point though, it's okay. Like at least the players recognize there's an issue, but the problem is how do we correct that? Like I don't know what I could. Like the only way you can correct that at this point would be to change the economy of having them, which would be making it like the garrison where you don't need it, but it is a luxury, right? Or alternatively, if they are going to tune for it, right, like they did in this raid, you got to make it way more cost effective, because when players sit down for these raids, for an event, for anything, we're looking at time investment, coin investment, and the totals have gotten out of hand. The totals have gotten completely out of hand.
They have.
I mean, the targets, except for this 106, the targets have been kind of fun to drive, kind of fun to figure out. But like, the figuring out that 106, like that 106 should not, that's a hell of a way to figure out that target. I mean, that's a crazy solution.
They should.
And you know,
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean,
don't know.
yeah, how it gets fixed is, I don't know. I mean, it's because they look at the analytics of what people have, and then they escalate against what we have. So I mean, you know the answer, and we can't talk about it. But
well, here's the other thing too, right? What I don't understand is if you want to give the community a challenge and all that stuff, right? But what would happen if you actually made an easy raid, right? Because the people that are running up to 6, 7, 800 million, 900 million are going to do that anyway, right? The people that are struggling might have a little bit easier of a raid, and they might actually coin a little bit more. And then the people that are going in right now that are like, oh my goodness, I'm going to go outside instead of play because I'm completely demotivated by looking at that total. If the raid's easier, would actually probably sit down and engage instead of walking away. I mean, I'm just trying to follow the logic in what we're presented, and I'm having issues following it sometimes. Like I said in one of the articles, like I individual things, I can completely see both sides individually, but then you start taking a step back and you start looking at things in the group or overall, or you start looking at the forest instead of the tree, and things change, right? The overall feel changes, the overall requirement, like what are you asking your players to do? It's different when you take a look at the overall picture.
Yeah, and especially when it relates to PvE versus PvP, and the fact that everybody is spending all their time and resources on PvE at this point, and maybe they would get additional income from the PvP game like they used to, but everybody's spending all their time and resources on, because it feels more like you're giving your money to KIXEYE if you do it PvE, right? As opposed to some of these people get the mentality like, if I'm hitting another player, I'm getting the money from them. I don't know. I'm not sure. And then it might change the economy, but all these people are sinking their resources into that. So I'm not sure if they, like you said, if you make the raid easier, and then those people might, spend their time, money, whatever, and then they do that, and then they want to go do, PvP, and it might change the economy slightly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the thing is I say that
it might actually be, the same amount of money they get. It's just coming from a different source because these people aren't worn out from doing these kind of things.
Well, I say make it easier because of the total number of points that are required, right? And the catch is this too, right? Like they were like, oh well, it's 60 million hull because it's a premium product. Well, it really isn't. Not the way that the game is set up right now. It's not a premium product. It's the base product. It's of the two base products, it's the higher model of the two base products that you need to go forward and progress, right? So if you have an easier raid overall, you open up options for players and they'll engage more. And that's the catch, is I think that even endgame players now are having issues engaging. I mean, like they just, the drive is that, like, we're all passionate about this game. I mean, that's a damn given with some of the shit that we do, right? But passion's only going to get you so far, and if you keep on feeling like you're hitting a brick wall, you're not going to want to continue, or at least not at the same rate that you were previous. But if you feel like you can engage in more diverse areas of the game, right?
Yeah.
And because you're able to actually participate in more diverse areas of the game, you will engage more and longer and probably spend more, or at least as much as you were before. And I'm not sure, like without seeing the numbers and stuff, like I have no idea. I'm just guessing, but logically it makes sense to me. For looking at other games and stuff and looking at how other companies handle stuff. I mean, that's what makes sense both logically and business wise. So I can't follow sometimes.
I follow what you're saying. And what they could do is, like, when the premium hull becomes 10 months old, bring it back in a TLC with enough tokens for a mid-low player to make a full fleet so they can actually do the new cycle raid.
Man, I wouldn't have a problem with them bringing it back after friggin' 3 months or 4. Well, no, I can't say 3 months. So like after like 6 months, right? Because we have a 3-month raid cycle only. It's not a 4-month raid cycle anymore. So you have the first month. You're going to need it for 4 months because the first month you get it, and then the 3 months is the raid cycle. And then say the first month after that, you want to have the advantage doing the chores, right? So at 6 months, you bring it back out for everybody else because we've already taken, like, the people that have gotten it and invested the time and money and energy and everything to build these things already have had their advantage. So at 6 months, bring it the hell back, make it cheap as fuck, and get it into people's hands so they feel like they are catching up or engaging in the damn game. Because if they're struggling and they don't even have this to hit the B sets the next friggin' year, because it takes so long for everybody to catch up and build these things and equip them and get the stuff that they need to put on them and fit them. I mean, dude, it's frustrating for people. And why would you keep on playing a game that's frustrating you instead of bringing you enjoyment?
Yes, that's true, and that's what we see every day in the community that they just, for some reason, aren't seeing. I mean, there's a lot of things that we have been talking about and bringing up over the last 8 months that they're finally just seeing, thanks to Rakin and RSpecs. You know, I give them credit for that.
Well, yeah, no, that's actually a really good point. And with Rampage too, Rampage has been really digging into a lot of stuff, right? And I think whereas before they relied heavily on just certain contacts, right? They're taking a much broader approach now in looking at what the community's saying. And, you know, granted, they have to filter through the schmucks that are like, oh, fuck you, Kixeye, right? Fine, you ignore them. But they're actually taking a look at a more broad spectrum of responses and stuff. And hopefully they will actually take all of that under advisement rather than keep on just going by, like, you know, top corners and stuff. If that's the only data they're looking at, or if that's the only players they're looking to get feedback from, you know, that's going to skew everything. But if they find a couple of no people that play with no coin at all, right? Find a couple people that are very low coiners, and start getting different perspectives, and, you know, I think they'll have a better understanding of what the community feels. See, this is the thing, is a lot of it's perspective too, because they have their plan, they have their thing that they go forward with, and then that's their perspective, and everybody's individual perspective is their reality, right? But if you don't understand someone else's perspective, you're not going to understand their reality. So while the idea and the theory is fantastic when designed and it implements well and everything looks like you had planned it looks perfect, but everyone else is like, you know, the players are like, oh, this sucks, right? And then you got to figure out why, because to you it's like, hey, this was awesome. It's a fishbowl theory. It's the fishbowl issue. They're in the fishbowl, we're on the outside looking in, and it looks different. You know, it's like what happens sometimes in the media. Someone does something and they're like, okay, that's just a normal reaction for me, and everyone flips the freaking shit because they're like, oh, they took a completely different way because the person didn't see it in that perspective, and now all of a sudden it's an issue. And it's, I think this is one of those things where it's that once they get some more feedback in, and they start seeing, I mean, they have to understand what they're asking their players, not from their perspective. They have to see what they're asking their players from the player's perspective. That's the catch, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the caption on Battle Pirates is free to play, not pay to play, free to play. And they need to really think about what made Battle Pirates so great. Say, I don't know, back in its early days, Blackwater, when we first got the Hammerhead, the Floating Fortress. What made the game so great back then?
Kicking the fuck out of each other.
Yeah. And, you know, even the events were, you know, what made the events great back then? Kind
Well,
of
the
take into that.
the first
And-
one sucked. I'm sorry, the first one sucked. But once they hit Base Invaders, then it got better.
I think it's basically the repair times and the build times.
I mean, you're not going to feel like you're making progress because you guys were just saying that, after X months, give them the good stuff from the last tier and significantly reduce it in price. I think it needs a build time reduction because if you're going to go forward building Apollos, like the weapons went down in a little bit and maybe one of the specials, but even with those reductions, that's still like, 11 days, 10 days maybe? Because it was 2 weeks when you built them without armor. So maybe down to 10, 11 days. A fleet of those is still 2 months, again, to do a quarter of the game. Like,
See,
you can't catch up.
So here's the thing. You guys are gonna hate me, but I'm gonna try and give you guys a different perspective on this. I'm gonna say it's not actually the build times or the repair times, right? Because that's an economy that can get manipulated. What I think is more the pressure the players feel, because if the build times and repair times were as big as they are now, but we weren't pressured to get them out before, say, VXP weekend or before the next raid. Like if that pressure wasn't there, which generates coin, like let's not be naive. That's exactly what generates people to coin. But the thing is I think the pressure is far greater now than it has been in the past. And I don't think it's just because of the build times or the repair times. I think it's just because of the timing overall.
Is that why they're shafting us for generic build tokens in the whole raid for the second time in a row?
I have no idea,
I
but
thought they
I'm just saying.
corrected
Like
that.
I think the thing is what the feeling that we have is not so much just because of the repair times or the build times. I think it's more to do with the pressure that we feel under to get things completed by certain times, and that and that's something that has to be balanced. And I think the problem is not the repair times and build times, it's that timing is not quite balanced. You know what I mean? Or if it is, it's for something that we don't think is acceptable. And this might be a perspective thing again. Like they might think that, 3 ships before the next raid is acceptable, and we're like, hell no, we want a fleet ready for the next raid. That's acceptable.
And
right?
the thing, three of these ships is, with all the charged armor, is 54 days. So, and I can certainly understand it balancing a little bit not in our favor, let's say, for like the new stuff.
Maybe, but not with the disparity that we have right now. Like maybe by like say 4 days, right? So if you really want everything right, you're gonna coin for 4 days worth of tokens or something.
Yeah, like that's not so bad. If you want everything perfect, you need to put in a little bit of money. Okay, sure. I think the point that we were trying to make a little bit ago was that this is the really old stuff. Like, Apollos suck now. They just do. So do Rhinos. Again, a while back they eliminated Tier 1 to 3 in the Foundry because they knew it was crap. They were completely obsolete. And now we're getting to that point where the Rhinos 3 tiers behind and the Apollos, they're basically garbage, let's be honest. So
they should be
why
cheap.
not give give the really bad stuff out for cheap? If you want the best stuff, if you want all the best stuff ready, pay a little bit. That's fine. I'm okay with that. And, I'm not going to have 3 ships ready. I might have 2.5 for the first raid, but that's what I have. And that's what I'm going to work with because that's the reality of things. I can't have my cake and eat it too and have everything and spend no money. No, that's not how anything works. No.
Yeah, look, man, I've advocated for giving old tech, like just straight out giving it to people. That you log in, you haven't been on for like a month. Hey, you know what? You get everything from here back. I don't care what the hell it is. You get, everyone gets the Apollo, everyone gets the Rhino, everybody gets all the old print. Like, just give the fucking tech away.
Okay, but you're encouraging people with doing that is to not play the game for 3 months. And so it ought to be a different mechanism.
New players,
These fleets all suck.
No, new players, anybody that's in the game now, anybody that's been gone for 3 months, anybody that's new to the game, you set a point in the tech and you go, okay, from here back, everybody has everything in their damn
Well, what they need to do,
level, whatever the hell it is, because the tech depth is a huge issue in this game.
but what they need to do is take those, they take those tier levels, and like once we go to a new tier, maybe not the entire tier, but the tier associated with whatever cycle we're in, and just take that whole tier that's related to that and reduce the build times drastically.
25% would be great.
I think I've said this before.
I think more than 25%.
I think I said this before.
I'm thinking like 90%.
Okay, so let's say we have tier 7, right? Let's say right now, tier 7, because we're about to get there. Well, okay, tier 7 comes, but if we're in tier 7, reducing tier 6 by like 25%, yeah, that's fine. Reduce tier 5, 2 levels below, by 90%, 95%. Make it like building a Seawolf or whatever.
Yeah.
And make the researchable crap like
instant
5 minutes so you can instant speed it up.
Yeah.
Like that's how bad this stuff is, and it isn't addressed. And I'm gonna pre-call them out right now, KixEye, because okay, so once this tech was released, this current the Phoenix and the Skyfire, right? Once this stuff was released, shortly thereafter, a couple weeks or so, they reduced the build time on all the missiles and the UAVs and some related specials. And this took building a lot of these holes from about 20 days down to about 14-ish, something like that. So they learned and they actually adjusted for the fact that this was a 3-month raid cycle, not a 4-month raid cycle. And now we're looking like it's starting that again. Everything, the new hull fully kitted out is 18 and a half days. And that's 90 days for 5 at a 3-month raid cycle. Guess what? We're done. And if they lower them now, because the torpedo is actually lowered, the torpedo is 6.5 hours. That's what the old weapons were after the reduction, the new reduction. So if they try to redo stuff now and claim that it's, oh yeah, we did this for you guys and blah, 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 that's bullshit. You're all a bunch of fucking liars. Like, you are idiots, and you must think us idiots.
Well, of course they do.
Believe that this time. Hello.
Oh, the cop showed up at Brian's house. I'm assuming that's what happens.
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
What? Oh, is he Mary? No, I'm still here. Hi. No, yeah. But basically, you didn't learn from the thing that you just did 3 months ago. And if you're going to try to spin that positively for you, nobody's going to believe you. No chance at all.
Yeah. Yeah.
Can I hit on the bus real quick?
What?
The new sloth flag?
Okay, go ahead.
First of all, I think there are Pittsburgh Steelers fans in the office because it's the bus, the Brandon Stott, Jerome Bettis, Steel Curtain,
Mm-hmm.
I imagine there's going to be a terrible cow in there somewhere. Yay, somebody got it. Yeah. 112.5. It makes me sad that they're doing all these sorts of things where now there's the rages, now there's the axiom, now there's the thing to stop the axiom that buffs every conqueror, now the sloth's got a buff. But who used sloths in the first place? Like,
well, because their day was stolen by the Muddleglots.
Exactly. Like, pick a hole that people are using right now, or at least like give more concussive deflection to the prides or something. Something we actually use. They're trying to make us build a new fleet, and a lot of people scrapped prides. Scrapped them, just straight up gone.
Well, but remember how they tried to bring back the icebreaker? They want to have, and that's what I'm a little bit afraid of, is how they made the icebreaker by far the preferred hull for some of these TLCs afterwards.
I mean,
now we're expected to have the Skyfire as well as the Phoenix as well as everything else. I mean,
well, that's
sort of That scares me.
I mean, that's just a massive design failure is what that is. If you're expecting us to have both fleets done, I mean, I've said it multiple times, but no.
But I've
No
said
one's-
this before.
We yeah, we've
but you know,
we've had this before.
again though, we're at a crossroads here, like going, okay, this is what we have in front of us right now for this raid, right? We haven't really heard anything from Kixeye with regard to this target. What do we do as players going forward? Like, is this what we should expect on the map? Should we start building our Skyfires? Should we get, if we don't have that flagship, should we get it this raid? Should we change our plans? I mean, what the hell?
Yeah, and you can't build the flag that you just got because you have to build subs for the next raid.
Yeah, and also, do we want this sub? Do we want the Fangtooth, or are we going to wait for the TLC and spend our time building that? I mean, there's.
Yeah, let me tell you, if the secondary hull is better than the top tier hull again, I mean, the fallout.
Well, it seems to happen every other time because you had.
But guys, you know what? We're sitting here bitching about the same thing that we've been bitching about now for 6 months. They've heard us. They don't care. They keep rerunning the same screw up every single time, and we are the ones that are paying for it, and we don't ever get anything back. So the fault is, whose fault is it? Until we get together and force them to make a change, nothing's going to happen because we keep throwing coins at them all the time.
Yeah, I mean, Rum has something. We could burn our bras.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm talking about finding something to do for real. Because until they start to respect what we give them, they're not going to change because they know we're going to give it to them.
Oh, I did my bit yesterday.
I mean, go.
George, let me tell you something, buddy. You need to break the game more often. You need to throw it in their face and give everybody the clue to fixing it. That way, they have to fix it on their end.
Yeah, and make
You
it
need to
harder for
seriously
people.
break the game and show them how stupid it is what they're doing to us.
What would be the point?
Yeah.
I mean, seriously, what would be the point?
Have we not already done that by baiting this into them that we need, that their idea of us needing 2 fleets? Well, I guess technically they don't have the data from it yet.
Okay, so let me ask you a question. If we've beat it into them, what have they learned? We still need 2 fleets. What
Well,
have we learned? We still need 2 fleets.
well, we've learned we need 2 fleets. Our decision from there is the thing. Like,
I mean,
because you don't have time to build 2 fleets. It's not like it's even close.
But guess what? They're
Yeah.
going to keep doing it because we keep coining it.
But look, what I want to know from them is this. You know, if the top tier hull is not really the top tier hull, and they start saying the skill hull is like so 106, right? If this is what they intend, where the Skyfire will take 2 coins of damage, and if you can drive your Phoenix as well, you can take, you know, if you drive them perfectly, you can take 10 minutes of damage, right? If that's the intent, I'm going to tell you right now, I'm with Jeff. Like, I am not going to want the sub. I want the backup hull. I want the second tier hull because I want an easier raid. If it's only going to be like 1 or 2 coin difference, fuck it. I don't want to. I do not want to be on the edge of my damn chair, hitting every one of these fucking huge targets to save 20 minutes of damage. That's ludicrous. You know what I mean? Like, if that's what I need to know from the company. That's what players need to know, and have very clear communication from the company. What is their intent with these hulls?
And giving you that answer will cost them coins, so they're not going to give it to you.
No, it won't.
But I mean, it really depends if you look over the short version or the long view or the short view.
Honestly,
I mean, if people are happy spending coins, that's one thing. If people are pissed off because they spent their coins on the Phoenix, and then they're like, oh, okay, now I can't do the 106 that well unless I drive like a maniac. That's you know, and the people, they coin that. That's not going to be helpful to them either.
Look, I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. Driving that 106 is as hard or harder than when I did the Hellwraith. That the first raid when they changed the targets, which would be the second raid or whatever. I mean, that kind of driving is not conducive to fun. That does not equate to fun at all.
I love the first Hellwraith.
If you had to do it once, that's fine. if you had to like build up and do that once, and you got 100 million relative, then that's then I can see that challenge. But having to keep on repeating it again and again and again.
If you had to do it, like so, if the raid's like a 4-day raid, and you had to do it, 20 times over the course of 4 days, then okay, you know what, I could probably live with that. Having to do it 60 times, that's a completely different thing. I mean, now you're getting to the point where it's like, okay, no, way too much. Way too much.
Yeah, and I think even 20 times, I think that's too much.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I was looking at 65 tier 7 sets for the 467 million for what I wanted.
Yeah, that's insane. See?
I work 40 to 60 hours a week, just depending on what's going on. I don't want to come do the thing that I want to do for enjoyment for another 30 or 40 hours. I don't want to do it.
Yeah, I mean, and the main issues are
that's why
is the point escalation.
That's why they put the blitz target.
It's more than that. It's
See,
more than that. I don't want to give them.
Here, that's the thing is, do you want to incentivize players of your game to not play the game? I mean, that's insane.
Yeah. It's. I mean, why are these? Yeah.
I can understand it if you're time constrained and you have to have a blitz option, and okay, you know what? It costs money, and you're gonna be able to save time. But the thing is, they're making it so it's incentivizing the players to actually not play and blitz instead of. I don't know. If I was a gaming company, I would want people to be engaged in my game and actually play my fucking game.
And want to play the game.
That would be the engaged part.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of things they could do. I mean, like, because we see these, I mean, if they insist on having these two halls that are running in parallel, why don't our targets reflect that? Like, like have the A set and the A set, or, all the sets have like 5 targets. You hit 3 of them, and then you get your bonus, and 2 of them are based for either hall, and then one's like a middle ground.
I don't know that they want to actually. I mean, that's a lot of.
It's a lot of programming.
That's I mean, that's an investment.
Yeah. Well, if you think about some of these past raids where they had 50 targets.
Well, that's never going to happen again, dude. I mean,
well,
that's,
well, but what I'm saying,
evil.
I'm sorry.
I mean, the thing is with regard to this raid, we already had. I mean, the 103's already been programmed. It's already there. I don't understand why it's not available as the second target for people with Phoenixes, because clearly the 106 is hugely punitive to Phoenixes, hugely punitive, and that's not how the top tier hull should be in the top tier target for a 3 million point target.
Yeah, I mean, and I think part of the game is the people that don't join an alliance, don't watch videos on YouTube, they're never going to get into this game, because if you think about it, if you show them the easy way to do it, before, back in the day, we used to hide that.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But
I mean,
now
I still hide PvP stuff,
Yeah, but the PvE stuff, it's like, now everybody talks about it.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah, back in the day when it was like Base Invaders, like we didn't explain to anybody how you used the subs to, you got those Barracudas,
We use stock. I recall using stalkers. Yeah,
stalkers weren't fast enough. Like I was thinking about that the other day, and I don't remember anybody running stalkers.
We ran stalkers, and like it was me and SPAC and.
No kidding. I mean, we did the Barracuda. But we never. But like the thing is, we never shared it. And then what was the one? Was it Base Invaders 2 or 3? I think it was 3, maybe 4, where they had the grid on there, and you could use the grid to perfectly kite the edges of the turrets, and they took the grid out the next raid because some of us figured out that. And I mean, but yeah, back then we didn't share anything. I mean, everything was secretive.
Yeah,
hell,
yeah.
a lot of times you didn't even share it with your damn own alliance.
Yeah.
And I don't
Well,
know.
there's a lot more PvP, like that was not officially named PvP than there is now.
No, like back then you didn't share shit. Like you didn't share anything. You didn't share how to do targets in the raids or anything because it was a huge competition. Even
Well,
when Base Invaders 3 came around,
because
and
the first
considering that every single ship, like you basically built one fleet for everything during the raid, so
Sometimes.
you're basically giving you're giving away your raid fleet, you're giving away your baser fleet, everything.
no, I mean we still niche built for certain things. I mean we tweaked for different things.
Not as much.
Not at that time. At that time, I
Nah.
never tweaked for.
Oh
certain-
yeah, no, at that time, absolutely.
No, because I used because I won the first raid in Sector 1, and I used 3 Sea Wolves and 2 floating fortresses, and I just cobbled that together because I needed to, because it was the amount of resources you could take back to your base, and that's the reason the floating fortresses were there. I mean, and then it was the first 8 raids were basically whatever you had, and then you try to figure out what you had for hitting bases, hitting salvages, doing whatnot, and then you cobbled all those together in order to hit the targets. At least that's the way I did it.
Yeah, I mean, most of your stuff was built for other things, and then you adapted it for the raid. Or, I mean, Base Invaders was so long. Like, I actually had builds just for that raid. The Typhoon raids, I had builds just for that raid. Some of them I could use. Like, I would take 1 or 2 out of that fleet to use in something else when I would hit a base or something. But that was not like my main base hitting fleet. My main base hitting fleet was designed just to hit bases, right? Now you could use your raid fleets a lot of times to do fleet versus fleet on the map, and we did a ton of that all the damn time. But it was also like an hour to repair fleet. I mean, what the fuck? I mean, it wasn't. It wasn't that cheap. But I mean, it wasn't no 13 to 24 hours like it is now. I mean, hell, I have a gluttony fleet that takes 38 hours to repair, I think.
And
that wasn't going to happen back then.
For a technically PvP fleet, that's really ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. I agree. That's why it doesn't come out a lot.
Yeah.
It comes out only when I really am annoyed and I have to deal with something, but and then it'll be sitting repairing over the course of a week because I have other stuff to do. And that's the thing is these things overlap so much that I'm not even sure.
Well, I wanna ask before the show ends is this new torpedo. Do you think it'll be good on the gluttonies?
Maybe.
Well, it depends. If everyone has a trap in their base, like one of the walls, you're not getting through with those torpedoes.
Oh no, but I'm talking about for fleet versus fleet to catch those.
Oh yeah,
to catch the people on the fleet.
Considering the much higher damage per shot.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean that's a given. The torpedo itself is great unless you're trying to get into a base. Like my gluttonies have mayhems to prep fleets out. That whole fleet's gonna have to get tweaked because of the changes and stuff.
Why didn't they re-release Sonic Targeting again?
Why would you need Sonic Targeting? Sonar sucks.
Yeah, I don't know why that's not out here with the new hull, but I don't know.
I don't even know.
Maybe we're going to see something. That's the other thing. We don't know what's coming out in the FM either. I mean, we might have something new in the FM.
Yeah.
Maybe the escalation of that.
Think about all the crap we're getting brand new right now. We're getting ready to turn around and have an FM with new stuff.
I mean,
Yeah.
they said they were coming. They said that they were coming out with a new Trident, right? So,
but
January.
what's probably going to happen is we're going to get the Zelos weapon in the Forsaken mission this week.
Oh yes, in tier 5 where it doesn't need to be.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
Or not the Zelos weapon. It could be the Empyrean weapon.
well, either way, a generalist weapon does not belong in tier 5, where somebody who is going to use that or needs that can't get to.
yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry, if you're getting tier 5, then you're not going to need that generalist weapon out of tier 5. Because you can do everything else, and you've already gotten all the top tech. Why need generalists? I mean, yeah. That's just, it grinds my gears so much. Until they don't listen, they don't understand. Any generalist stuff should be in tier 4. Because I'm sorry, I'm not going to use the generalist stuff. And half my sector is not either.
Yep.
So why not make it available to people who actually need it, who can only hit tier 4, so they can actually get somewhere in, chores and the FM and the raids. I mean, they want more engagement. They want people to actually, be involved in all this, but they miss the basic fundamental points of what they're doing. Like I said earlier, it's good on paper, but in actual real life, it's crap.
Guys, they're not stupid. They're not missing it. They don't care.
That means they're stupid.
I don't
No,
know. Look,
that
I don't
doesn't
think,
mean they-
I don't
no.
think. I don't think they don't care. Like I said before, I think it's a perspective thing. I really think it's one of
The way I see it is that, like, in the beginning, we used to be able to take research tech, and we were able to do the raids. And research tech wasn't, like, let's say Marauders. We were able to do the raid with Marauders. At least we were able to get tier 4 with just research tech. And then now we can't do that anymore. And then
we left research tech a long time ago.
I know that. I know that, but I mean, that's what drove me into the game, was the fact that I was able to progress from research tech all the way up without a lot of coining, or But now it's like if someone brand new comes into the game, all they have is research tech. And what are they going to do about raids? How are they going to get hooked?
That's why I said new players, like everybody, at some point they should just pick a point in the tech tree and just go everything from here back. Give it to everybody. Everybody, just give it to everybody.
I agree.
Hey, George, back to your point about things firing when they're dead.
Yeah.
Can you go into a 106 and look at that far back right island? And check it out and see if, after you don't think you've killed that thrower or whatever the hell it is, that it fires another full volley or 2.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, see, I have
it.
to get it. Yeah, I got to get it on tape. I mean, it's happened. It's happened a lot in the 100 on the one on the right hand side.
Yep.
That one happens a lot, but I haven't caught it yet.
I'm using my Phoenixes in the 106 right now, and it's happened like every single time that I've been back there near that. I'll take the time to kill the spitter, and then I'll focus on that, and then I'll turn around to kill the 2, whatever they're called. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the thrower or whatever it is fires again after it's dead.
Are we sure it's not a lag issue?
No, it's not a lag issue because it's plenty of time to be dead after that.
Okay, I had to ask, just, cover all our bases.
Besides,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. If it's a lag issue, then they should prioritize what animations going where first. Like, it should always be the firing first, not the exploding of the turret dying first. If that's going to be the excuse that they try and come up with, lag is not. That's not an answer.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? Because you can't have one animation without having the other one. I mean, if you're going to have it firing, then it's got to fire before it blows up.
Yeah.
Unless you
Well,
fire your missile before you get in range, and then you get in range after you kill it. After you fired, and then it fires right before it dies. But it looks like it's firing after it's died.
Yep.
yeah.
Because you're moving.
Well, we've passed the 2 hours.
I think we're still going strong. I don't think there's a problem. Let it run 4 hours tonight.
4 hours.
I mean, if we're gonna, bitch about shit that's not gonna be fixed anyway, let's go all night.
Well, as far as stuff that, like 3 things I want fixed. 1, before OP10, figure out a new way to upgrade the walls.
Yes.
Yes.
2, I really hope they fucking thought about the Fangtooth and how this is going to impact the rest of the game, and get rid of the double pop-ups for the time-limited campaigns.
Oh, well, hold on. Before you go any farther, as a part of your number 2, they need to fix recovery between everything. Getting out of this, seeing the splash screen, seeing all the other shit takes way too long.
Yeah.
But it seems I was gonna go into this, but the Fangtooth, from the description of what everyone's saying about the target. So basically, you're driving a surface ship that's underwater. That's how
you're driving a ghost crawler, but not a ghost crawler.
Yeah. So in the target, it acts like a regular ship because they could see you at all times in the target.
Well, no, they can't see you at all time. They have longer thermal.
Yeah. They have long. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. But you basically drive it like a regular fleet, and like if you're driving an assault fleet or not, a non-sub fleet.
Yeah, because it has a range around 100.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then, but it's still a sub. So what is the sub feature for, other than for going out and griefing people?
No, the subs feature, you were on a sub. You understand the tactics of a sub better than anybody else, even though this is not real life. It's supposed to sneak up on people. You're not supposed to grief people. Sit in the corner, wait on some idiot to come in and prep your base that doesn't realize that there's another boat back there waiting to kick his ass. Kick his ass and then laugh at him.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be used as a griefing feature, like to take out your Forsaken Mission fleet or something like that.
Yeah, well, any boat can be used as a griefing feature if you can hide it well enough.
Yeah.
I get my raids before I just go over and attack people.
Well, what I'm suggesting is they eliminate the double pop-ups from the time-limited campaigns. So the fact that you can't get out, it makes it really difficult to get out of the time-limited campaigns.
You know what I'd really like to see, especially since we have subs coming as the main prize right now. The ability to launch when it's only at 50% health. Because you know what? There are times that I take stupid damage and I just want to go back out and finish the target, and I don't want to repair the entire fleet. That's just dumb. I want to throw a coin on each one. Like they got to change that 100% thing completely.
Yeah, I agree with you that. I mean, it does have a lower repair efficiency. It's only 0.37 relative to what we've been seeing recently, which is about twice that. But again, that's really why I think a lot of people are waiting for the next haul. They don't want to have the sub because of what you're describing. Because you have to be fully healed in order for that to happen.
And that's just stupid.
Yeah. I mean, it's going to create a huge advantage for the new Tideseeker Hunter type of whatever that's going to come out. It's because you can micro repair it and do whatever and not have to spend 2.5 hours or whatever it is per ship. I don't even remember what the number is, but yeah, that's not going to be. I agree with you on that, George. That they need to, they need to figure that out.
I mean, I can see with a PvP sub having to do that. Not a PvE though.
Yeah, but PvE could be used as PvP. A sub is a sub. It doesn't matter what it is. what other class it is. It's you're not going to be able to see it when you're in battle.
Yeah, it never surfaces, and it's going to have, if you put Magnus 2 on it, it's going to have a combat speed of 63. And then it's going to have a range of 100.
Yeah. With that damage, I'm predicting that this is going to be able to snipe rage fleets and basically destroy them.
Yeah, it's. I just hope they thought this through, because I'm foreseeing a calamity. Not Calamity Jane, but, the whole...
Modern War 2.0?
Yeah. It's... I just hope it works out well. I mean, hopefully they thought through all this stuff as it relates to the PvP part of the game, because they're releasing a PvE hall that really crosses over into the PvP part of the game.
Yeah.
I don't mind that.
Okay, well, I just, I don't appreciate when people are, sniping my, my time-limited campaign ships that have no defenses against this.
Right.
Yeah, they sniped my fleet the other week.
Well, we can talk like this all we want to, but the part of the thing that to me we've been missing lately is a lot of fleet versus fleet combat. Because I mean that's fun in its own right. Not only is PvP for a base, but boat versus boat. This is my build. This is what I'm going to do to kick your ass. How are you going to stop it? And now we have an opportunity to get that back a little bit. So whatever it takes, bring back the fun parts of the game and do away with a lot of the chores.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I mean, the main thing I'm asking them to look at is the double pop-ups for the time-limited campaigns, where you're using a fleet that's, say your garrison hall. Your garrison hall has no shot against any sort of subfleet, but you got a double pop-up. You're going to get engaged if somebody's not happy with you.
If you're a hothead like Rum, and somebody comes and hits my boats, I'm going to go get my fleet and I'm going to grief them back. That's the battle. That's the battle in Battle Pirates.
Yes, I remember Seawolf battles.
Oh, absolutely. You go get the biggest badass ship you got and go fight somebody. I mean, hell, we got pussy pirates going on right now, guys, for God's sake.
No,
Come on.
Seriously, I mean, okay, we have our Conquerors that are 30 minutes repair base hull, and you have our PvE hulls, which are 5 hours to repair base hull. Like, there's a big difference, and then one can basically wipe the floor with the other. And basically grief the other person? No.
But basically, they're saying be careful. They're saying battles early, be in the proper position. Now, this is where I will agree with Hefe. The double pop-ups suck. You need to do away with those.
No, it's just what they gotta do is they gotta if they're gonna divide PvP and PvE, divide PvP and PvE. Do not let PvP ships engage PvE and PvE ships at all. If there's a PvE ship in the fleet, they can't engage.
And don't make it to where I need to hit something.
Hold on. Can I ask a question? The double pop up for the TLC stuff. Are you talking about when you're coming out of it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
End or in between? Because there's actually a window of opportunity to right-click your base. Because I do that all the time. Because I was getting sniped all the damn time.
Okay.
So every time I come out, I right-click on my base before the first screen even pops up.
Yeah, it sucks, guys.
You
gotta
do that.
You got to be careful. You got to be diligent. But it's not going to change.
Yeah, I know that's never going to change. This is what kids kick coin. So.
But it also discourages people from engaging in PvP. At least in my opinion. Because if they're less likely to get hit if they're not, if they don't piss somebody off, they're less likely to have somebody sitting outside waiting to hit them with subs.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there is the random asshole.
You have found my avoidance strats. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what would be fun is if they would find some way to bring it back to where you could protect a buddy while he's doing something. Remember the old mines to where you could go out and hit it with a mining fleet, but protect it with another of your own fleets?
Yeah.
I think they ought to turn that around
Yeah.
and get it to where people are working as a community again, and say, if I'm going to go out and hit an FM target, I got a buddy that can put a protection on my fleet, so that way you have to fight his fleet to get to my fleet. I think it'd be cool to have more of an aspect to where we could work together as an alliance to do the things we need to do.
Kind of like what they have in.
That was the point of Mega Hulls, though, wasn't it? How'd that work out?
George, you love mega hulls as much as I did because you're the one that created the blog or whatever it was we did.
I like them. I like them, but I'm just saying the point of that was to be an alliance, thing, and it didn't. That part of it did not quite work out.
Well, because they pulled him off of it to put him on something else.
I don't know. Dude, look, we hit right before the raid. Prix is sitting in our sector, and me and bloody hell, who was it? Hefe, do you remember who the other guy was?
They did what?
We went out and destroyed that whole alliance's
Nah, I
in the mega hulls.
I missed that.
It was me and one guy from the Prick Alliance, and we went in and just like demolished an entire group of mega hulls. And they would get notifications. People were trying to jump in on the battles, and it didn't quite help. It's just people are not as. Daniel was saying it the other day. I think with his mega hulls, like it's just not. You get the notification, but no one shows up to fight.
Right.
It's the alliances are not what.
Well, but
unless you're in a really big alliance, like if you're in PNLS, like they will respond. If you're in
you
GIMP,
just nailed what
they'll
I was going to
respond.
say, George. You just nailed what I was going to say. It's for the big alliances. If you're coming up against a PNLS and they've got 15 fleets of rages coming at you, hell yeah, you're not going to be able to stop them. But I don't know. It's just they have overwhelming numbers.
Yeah.
Great
They
Dane,
do.
that's who it was. Me and Great Dane we went in and killed Trot D.
Yeah,
They
but
had all their mega hulls around one of the nexuses, and I think like 2 of their players showed up. We destroyed 20, 30 mega hulls. It was ridiculous.
That's great.
But that's the thing is that's the kind of you're asking for something where alliances can interact with each other more, and the thing is that alliance is, I think it's like 70 people, right? The alliance I'm in has like 90 people, but I'm not going to ever put my mega hull at a nexus because the same thing would happen. The interaction is not there unless you're in specific alliances, right? Like SDS7, they're a small alliance, right? They're a smaller alliance, at least compared to some of the other ones, but they're responsive as hell when someone hits one of their members, right?
Well
They're
timed,
very-
well
They're a
planned.
good alliance.
They're
a good alliance. They're fun to.
Yeah. Oh yeah. GIMPs, PNLS, like all these alliances are very reactive. They interact very well with each other within the alliance, and for them, it's perfect. And that's what alliances have to be in order for things like this and things like you want to actually succeed in the game. And the problem is that they're not there. And part of it is because of the cost of PvPing. I'd love to go out and start whacking the hell out of people because they're attacking somebody on the water or something. But you know what? A lot of times I'm like, oh well, I'm already in my dock. I already have like a 7-hour repair from this, and I have like an hour and a half repair from that, and I have like another 12 hours because I was collecting base parts on auto. And do I want to add another 20 or 30 hours to that?
Yeah, and it's
George,
the
I
thing
agree with you
saying-
100%, buddy.
The thing I was saying the other day was, what's the point of going out there anyway? Because then you got like 3 guys there, 2 with rages and the guy with the mega hull, and you're the only one there trying to defend the whole entire all of our megas, and I'm like, where the hell is everyone else? I waste like 35 coins, and I'm like.
I know,
right? And I
expensive.
think part of it is just the expense of actually PvPing, but it's also, again, it's not just one thing. If it was just that, I think you'd see more participation. I think it's the overall thing again, because players are doing, like, there's chores now in the game, and that requires repairs. You know, no one's going to be perfect on those, and especially when they get boring as hell, you're going to either mess up or you're going to auto them. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes on, and then we have the TLCs, and then we have, I mean, when are people going to actually have the time to interact like that and go and hit stuff? I mean, do you remember the old
quick
days?
serious question before you get on to that. Is
Okay.
anybody else hitting targets right now while we're talking?
Hi.
No.
I am.
Have you
How can I
noticed
help
a serious decrease in damage output in the last 10 minutes?
From your
I do
ship
not
or
have.
their-
I do not have before 10 minutes to compare. I'm sorry.
From your ships or their ships?
A serious damage decrease from their part. I'm now doing
Oh,
106s. I'm now doing my Phoenixes, or 106s with my Phoenixes, and taking 1 to 2 coin damage per.
Really?
Maybe you're driving better. And
Well,
Yeah,
that's
maybe.
what I'm trying to figure out.
It's random.
I
That's
mean,
what I'm trying to figure out.
eventually you're going to figure out how to drive, Kev. I mean, you know, I'm just
George.
saying.
George,
But-
as soon as you pull the training wheels off yours, let me know.
Hey, I'm pretty sure I know how to drive something.
Yeah, the tricycle. That's what it is.
So I mean, like, I remember the days when we would have, I mean, we'd have like 40, 50 fleets on the water and go into the next sector and just have like a huge battle.
We all
And it was
talk about
fun
that.
as hell, you know? And
That's when repairing a fleet would cost you 10, not 10, but it cost you 4 or 5 coins max for a full fleet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you would be able to use, like, let's say we were able to use light cruisers that were like, what, 10 minutes to repair, and they were just fine in those times of battle.
Oh yeah.
Where you go into fleet versus fleet and just go attack, you know.
Well, but see, that's the fun part of the game. We don't have a fun part of the game anymore. They
It's
made it
because
all
of the
work and all
repair
coin.
times.
I know, Daniel. I agree with you 100%, man. My voice is raised 5 octaves, and I'm agreeing with you. I'm not
Yeah.
arguing with you.
Yeah.
I'm agreeing with you.
I'm just saying, like, that's where it would be fun. If they could figure out a way to get that back into the game, right? Like, honest to God, if they could figure out a way to get that back into the game, even if it was like once a month you had free repairs for PvP stuff, right? And people would get on and just beat the hell out of each other, I would guarantee you people would start coming back into the game.
I have
It
good
would-
news
it would
and
be-
bad
it
news.
would be a
They're
great-
trying. It's called Bounty.
No,
But-
see, Bounty's not. No.
George, you were going to talk about Bounty, and we haven't got onto that yet. So what do you want to say?
No.
It's the closest, it's the closest analog
have,
to what you just described.
Yeah,
that
it
exists.
is. It is pretty close.
Well,
to
I mean,
that.
the thing is like,
But the
I'm
expense too much.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like,
Yeah,
I'm thinking if they
and
had like
it's not
one
perfect.
weekend a month, right? 1 weekend a month, you got whatever you have in your you know, in your base and stuff, which would incentivize you to stop building PvP stuff. 1 weekend a month, absolutely free repairs on PvP and or Conqueror and Defender hulls, right? And just have like complete Wreckapaloozas across the entire friggin' game
Oh yeah.
for 1
I think it'd
weekend.
be a blast.
And you know, and yeah, you know what? They're not going to make any coin, which I doubt. I think people would actually end up coining like refits and shit, but they wouldn't make any coin on repairs. But man, I'm telling you, the fun factor would be back, and I think it would get people back into the game, at least
But you know,
remembering
George,
how
they don't
much
even
fun it is.
They don't even have to make it free. Make it quarter, 25% whatever. Just give it an incentive for people to get out and play, and see if they'll still go play.
Well, the reason why I say free is because there's so many people that haven't even got into PvP yet. That
Yeah.
you know, like what did he say the other day? PvP curious, right? And there are a lot of people that are PvP curious. This would be perfect. That would be perfect for them to get into it, or at least get a feel for it, because then there's no, loss. You're not going to suffer a loss, and you're not going to be as upset if you mess up in a base, or you're not going to. It's a fantastic way to get people engaged into another aspect of the game.
Did you
So
notice the thing that he said during that was every once in a while we go up and we have a look at people's bases or bases in their fleets, and he says, you guys are building really bad conquerors.
No, I didn't catch that.
Oh, yeah,
I
he
heard
talked-
that.
He talked
Yeah.
about that. You know
Yeah.
what? If you're going to criticize people's builds, why don't you have a show or a segment or something that says, okay, guys, listen, we designed this hull 6 months ago. This is kind of how we thought you would build it. You guys are building them like crap. So here, take a tip from us. Have more fun.
Oh my god, that would be
I'm
so
gonna
much
tell you-
better.
I'm going to tell you right now. Yeah, I'm going to tell you right now that I made sure that GDI did not out me on some of the builds that I have.
So in
on
reverse
PvP.
order, number 1, GFC website. Number 2, their builds that they give us for PvE are dog shit too. So I
Yes,
don't
they are.
trust them.
They absolutely are. But I mean, if they're saying one thing, you know what? I'm going to take Raken's advice on what to do with the Skyfire more than I will Aerospec or anybody else. That's what I'm saying. The guy that built the fleet ought to come out and say, okay, this is what you guys are kind of doing wrong. I'm not going to give you an exact build, but this is what you could do. And yeah,
the
I
thing
know
is-
TFC does that, but
maybe
not everybody
something
goes to TFC.
that
true.
explains some of the
Not everybody goes to the forums and is going to watch Raken's video. And if you're old enough, you remember what happened the last time Raken made a video about PvE.
I do. Here, have R16.
Excuse me. Oh, I go.
Hey,
like,
where do I
Raken
get
from
R16?
under that bus? I'm sorry. That was actually legitimately a little uncalled for.
What
But
was it? I'm sorry.
it was uncalled for.
What was?
What I just did.
Yeah.
Oh,
Little uncalled for. Sorry, Raken. He's not listening.
It's going to come back up again though,
Surely.
because we're coming back to a Scourge target again.
Oh, that's right. It is Scourge and also some. Oh, that's gonna. Anyways, so back a little bit from a psychological angle, PvP and incentives. It's linked to a behavior that the player wants. If a player wants to go out and ruin someone else's day, then they're well, maybe not ruin someone else's day. If they want to go out in PvP and smash up somebody's base, then they're probably going to do that
anyway.
unless there's an exorbitant cost. And one of the unfortunate things is for a lot of players, there's at least a perceived exorbitant cost because the amount of tokens that you get and such to cover refits, and a lot of players feel that they have to get their things gold, is high. And unfortunately, it got a lot lower with the release of the Titanium for Conqueror VXP tokens, and it's going to get even lower in theory with this new PvP quote-unquote dry dock thing that they're sort of talking about right now that's going to come out soon, we hope. So that's going to be gone. But I think one of the things is some people think that or understand that there is another human on the end of that base. They're not just going out and smashing an enemy. And it's why I don't PvP. I feel bad because I'm doing this thing to another player and it's going to make them upset. And so I don't want to do that. And no matter the cost, like
Be a pirate.
I have just
Make 'em cry.
Be a pirate and do it.
Actually, let's.
and the thing is, like
That's how I used to feel. Actually,
well, and yeah, that might change over time once you get a taste of it. Or once you, maybe if somebody pisses you off, you go and flatten them. Sure, whatever.
yeah.
Yeah, that's on you. But for incentives, I think Bounty was the best at providing incentives, and the reason for that was
No, it wasn't.
base defense.
It was
No, base
an
defense
incentive
was-
for Gibbs to figure a way to rack the system.
Well, that was one of the side effects, but
Or
in terms of
PNLS.
in terms of incentives, like we've said it all the time, everybody needs base defense, right?
Yeah, but we,
And
we
so
weren't-
if you're going to give players the best base defense tools that currently exist and will exist for a while, and you're going to tell them that the only way to get them for the foreseeable future, well, I guess hopefully the near future, is to do PvP, you're going to get people's attention.
Yep.
I'm sure they had a lot of people that started doing PvP that didn't do it before because they could win a prize that was tangible and that had value to them. You can go and get bragging rights all you want, and maybe that's your thing. And if so, great. And you'll do that and have fun. But not everybody puts the same stock in that, and they want a tangible reward because medals are worthless. That's real talk. Medals are worthless.
Yes, they are.
And
No, they're ego
they want
measuring
something, and that's
tools.
what benefits them.
yeah.
Well, if you want to measure your EPing, there's a lot of other ways to do that. Probably a lot more effective.
Mhm.
Also, you don't need a pump. So there's that. I realize what show I'm on. I'm sorry. So that's you get incentives for players to do it by doing something that appeals to the nature, or at least appeals to a universally accepted need or desire. In this case, that's base defense. So that's what Bounty did. And I know that I am
I thought you were
critical.
going for your accounting degree and not your psych major.
People are saying I should have been a psych minor. I actually majored with dealing with crazy chicks in college, but that's for the after show.
That's what you got stashed in the back doors.
I see.
I see.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so Bounty provided incentives. And even if you have a quarter repair, get people to join, but that might not yield the results that you want. Maybe the first time you hit a base on this weekend, you get like a 1 hour fleet repair token or something. Heck, it may not even cover the cost of, like, you go in, you get chunked out, you're down 2 hours repair, let's say, and you get a 1 hour repair token. That doesn't cover the cost necessarily, but you still got something from it. And that 2 hours, who cares? You just repair it. You're going to have 2 spare hours surely at some point, either when you're about to go to bed or something else. And so that could be another way to tie it in. It's going to feel forced and it's going to feel like a Skinner box, but again, you don't have to do it, which I know is lame because that's what they said for Bounty and this and that, but I mean, maybe something good could come out of all of this. I don't know. Look, I got all my salt out. Okay, so we're I don't know. I'm trying to be positive.
Oh well, I mean, they really didn't give you any points for defense. That was a big minus.
They are not, and they should not until they fix other issues.
Yeah, I understand that now, but that was a big downer for me.
If you deal a certain percent of damage or something, and then fail.
Yeah,
it's still exploitable. Like, I mean, yeah, someone's going to exploit it, but as we just mentioned, people exploit things anyway. Yeah. Like, I mean, gamers are going to game, and at some point you have to weigh the potential cost of this exploit versus the benefit that it would provide, or theory could provide, because you're probably flipping a bunch of different levers all at once and seeing what happens. So it's a little weird, but
but if they're gonna give the same thing, like the same equipment later on or in a TLC or whatnot, I don't feel like I really need to be in Bounty, and I really don't want to engage in another chore and another thing.
I mean, hopefully they'll have
like I said before, I mean, two events a month is on top of it's too much.
Is VXP weekend an event?
I would say so, yeah. So I mean, that would be
Feels
3.
like it.
I mean, yeah. You mean VXP? You mean VXP day and a half, right?
Yeah.
Well, okay, yeah. VXP, go wreck your stuff.
Mm.
Oh man. I've got a Courage. It's gonna be okay, Courage. It'll be fine. I armored my Courage.
Yeah,
like
what did they say? The Courage isn't gonna be available for another 2 months or something? That's
something like that.
November.
But the thing too is
especially
like
if people come up with some good combinations.
So one of the things that I like for base defense is the Fangtooth. Let me explain. I mean, I'm sure you guys saw
Well, I already know that.
Well, yeah, but like, so 1750 base damage on the Torp. Assume you have the new special and only the new special. Okay? And only new special. So, times 3.2 for your torpedo damage, times 3 for your sealed... Okay, sorry. And sealed fire charge. Because you can. And you should. If you crit, that's 16,800 damage. With an accuracy 100 weapon, no splash. not half bad, I reckon.
You reckon?
He's wrecking something.
But
His fleets.
You could also get it higher.
Crazy chicks, apparently. I mean, I don't know.
No, they wrecked me.
That's
But,
the fun way to do it, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
No.
not okay.
Wow, that took you way too
No,
long.
you just
Ryan.
reminded me. Oh
That
God.
took you way too fucking long.
So there's this
You know we're live, right? I mean, I'm just saying before you
Yeah,
start
we're
some
still
crazy
live.
story.
Okay.
All right.
No. It's not okay. So every year for my college, you have to watch a thing about healthy relationships. It's mandated by title. It's literally the law. So this year's was 3 Shades of Unhealthy. They had the font from the movie, and
Lord.
they were talking about how signing a contract is bogus because you can revoke stuff at any time. It's like
What?
it's about consent because it can be withdrawn. Signing a contract in advance for such is bogus.
Oh, Lord.
It made
What?
I laughed so hard.
Oh my Lord.
It was
What?
so cheesy
Ah.
and it was hilarious.
See, when I took my psych classes,
All right,
I
that's-
never,
Jesus.
ever had anything like the craziest thing I ever had was in 101, and we were covering early childhood development, that section, and the professor was like talking about how children play with their poop and stuff. I'm like, oh my God, Mom, Dad, Play-Doh. Yeah, I got kicked out of that class for like 2 days. But anyway, we are live. I don't know why we're talking about,
What, the stuff like this. Yes.
I mean, to be fair, we always end the show 20 minutes after we
Yeah.
should have ended.
yeah, that's true. I think we're at that point.
Yeah.
We're 2.5
Awake.
hours in. It satisfied the whoever keeps complaining requirement
I
of
think
2
it
hours.
Was it Cody or was it?
Who's Rum?
Corey?
Corey. Corey's the one that always complains.
Yeah, we satisfied that and so many more things tonight.
Oh, look, there are people in the chat that actually say that the damage has gone down too. That's interesting. I might have to get on and play.
I
Did
took.
we
I took.
actually
Yeah.
actually influence the game?
I think the metrics influenced the
I
game.
think the metrics influence the game. I mean, look, no kidding. I'm gonna go check. Hold on, I want to check to see how many views this thing
So,
has. 'Cause this has
I mean,
been-
I took
In the
20
middle of the what's it called, the show, I was
Yeah,
noticing that I was
live-
getting instant
you-
repair on the map with my Phoenixes.
If you are
Really?
watching this show, you totally would have gotten that information first.
Okay, so look, so it was like 4,500 views when we first started the show. It's like 4,958 views now, right? This should never, ever, 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 ever happen for one video in a raid, right? And if that is any indication about how much of an issue people have with this target, then yeah, I can understand them tweaking it, because holy crap, that's a bad sign. Just
Are
saying.
the drones moving slower?
God, if they are, I am gonna be so psyched, because that'll make that target so much easier to drive.
Yeah,
It feels a little slower, but I can't say for sure.
I mean, they should, because the thing is that build is a Mag 2 drive, and you shouldn't have to have the Mag 2 drive to pull that off. You should be able to pull that off with the damn Speed System 5, right? And that's
Mag
what
2
that's what it should be tuned around. It shouldn't be tuned around to an outlier build. I mean, I'm not saying that it's an outlier build, but it's definitely not, what most people have built these to.
If you
exactly.
gave it to if you gave some guy that hull and said build it, he'd put SS5 in. It's not like it's a bad decision.
Right.
It's just suboptimal. Except now, it feels suboptimal in theory, but it's really good because you needed both Mag 2 and the flagship to outrun the drones. I felt
Yes.
in the last set of stuff. You couldn't do it otherwise.
In
That's
this
as
one,
fast as you could.
yeah, in the 106, you absolutely needed Mag 2 and the flag. And I think I had a much easier time doing it with Sea Serpents or a speed crew at the very beginning, like Fearless Blitzers. So I think you actually needed that entire combination to pull off what I did. And that's just not, I mean, I just don't think that's appropriate for the game in general. I mean, I don't know how many players are going to be able to actually do that. I mean, that's an odd combination. You know,
But again, the
Speaking
timing
of odd,
is weird. The timing is weird. It happens at this point. So how are they going to hear about it? They've already hit this target. Be like, fuck this, I can't do it. And now they change it. That's.
well, look, let's be honest. I mean, you know, if there's 5,000 views on that video, right, and there's like 40,000 or 30,000 players engaged in the raid, right? Say half of them are going to try the S target, so that's 15,000 players. So 10,000. I've only, at the very best, only a third of the players hitting the S target have seen that video, right? So the rest of them have not. Their metrics have got to be showing that people are taking like 2, 3, 4 hours of damage in these targets. They've got to be.
But I think Holst watched it like 20 times.
I didn't watch it.
I watched it and then saw what was required of your connection speeds and your ability as a human being, and I
only got a 4 megabit a second connection, man.
356 kbps, bro.
Oh,
yeah.
You got what? How
Damn.
much connection?
356 kbps.
So how much is that? That's 356 megabit.
That's a third. No, kilo.
A third, yeah.
What is that? Dial up?
1 megabit per second. That's what I get at the best of times.
Oh, the best of times. Okay, so let's everybody go.
It is frequently the worst of times.
I was like, is that like dial up? What?
No.
It feels like it sometimes.
28.8.
Feels like it.
AOL?
Boy, you remember that? 14.4 and 28.8. That was great.
Bing, bing, bing. Yes.
2400.
Okay.
Anyway, we have definitely reached the end of the show, everyone. It was fantastic.
Yeah.
To come out and listen to us rambling and ranting, and
We need to hear some more.
we got the salt out of our systems now. We should be good for the rest of the weekend, and I hope you enjoyed the show. And I'm gonna go and eat because that show was 2.5 hours long. And
real quick though, real quick. No. If you don't get the new special, you can use advanced concussive payload. It's going to be fine. It's a little heavier, but it's going to be fine with advanced concussive payload. What you could have just won a week ago. It's not that much worse. It's okay.
The only issue I see with that is the psychotic break that you exhibited at the beginning of the show.
We have a psychotic break every Friday night on
I
the
think
show.
we had a psychotic break the entire show, man.
I'm talking about.
Did you see my intro?
So how is 177 megabits?
I'm talking about the reload time that's added by that.
Oh, the 5 second.
Yeah, the 0.03%.
Oh, the 1 in 300 of blowing them. Yeah.
Well, is it one in 300 or 1 in 333? But either way.
Yeah, 1 in 333. They said 1/3% chance, and they probably just rounded it down to the 1/10%.
Yeah.
Hopefully, it doesn't matter too much. Hopefully, you won't need a lucky psychotic break to kill the targets. That's a sentence. What the hell?
Yeah. We're gonna replay that.
I can never run for public office now.
Yeah, a lucky psychotic break. I mean, that's that combination is that's a little odd. But all right, does anybody have any final words, or have you guys been using your final words liberally recently?
Yeah,
that one.
Who knows?
Okay. Well, if anybody'd like to join, I will join the after show. I will post I just posted the link on the right hand side, and feel free to join us for any more psychotic break, breakthroughs.
Yep.
And
I won't holler and scream too much.
Good luck at the Good luck in the.
I'm really hoping that we're going to get the clue in there to announce that FA's going to be
FA's junk.
FA's junk.
Everyone, good luck on the raid. I hope they did tune down a lot. I hope they did a lot of tuning down on the 106. But good luck, everybody.
Mhm.
I believe
Good
that-
night.
Good night.
Night.
Good night, everyone.